The nature of reality. Is the world an illusion? Imagine waking one morning to find that your world is just a detailed dream, a vibrantly woven illusion crafted by your mind. The people you love, the places you cherish, even the very essence of your existence. What if they were all mere constructs, fleeting shadows in the corridors of your consciousness? This thought is not merely a flight of fancy. Rather, it captures a profound philosophical dilemma that has challenged human understanding throughout the ages. Is the world we perceive truly real, or is it an illusion? The question of reality and illusion has been eloquently explored by philosophers such as René Descartes. His famous dictum, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am, suggests that the very act of doubting one's existence serves as proof of the certainty of one's thoughts. But what if these thoughts themselves, and the world they perceive, are deceptive? Descartes proposed the evil demon hypothesis. A malevolent entity could potentially manipulate our perceptions, leading us to believe in a reality that does not exist. Contrasting with Descartes, the ancient philosopher Plato offered an allegory that resonates deeply with this dilemma. In his allegory of the cave, he presents prisoners who have spent their entire lives chained inside a dark cave, gazing at shadows cast upon a wall. For them, the shadows represent reality, an illusion that obscures the true forms of existence. Only when a prisoner breaks free and ascends to the light outside does he grasp the richness of reality, yet he faces skepticism from those still trapped in the cave. This allegory speaks to a fundamental human quest for understanding. Are we, too, mere prisoners of our perceptions? In today's fast-paced world where technology blurs the lines between reality and illusion, these philosophical inquiries remain deeply relevant. Consider virtual reality, experiences so immersive that they challenge our sense of what is real. Video games transport us to fantastical realms, while social media crafts curated versions of our lives, leading to reflections on identity and authenticity. Are we living authentically or merely navigating a curated illusion? As we question the nature of our technological experiences, we are inadvertently echoing the inquiries posed by our philosophical predecessors. Moving into more contemporary thought, some, like the philosopher George Berkeley, propose that reality hinges upon perception itself. He famously stated, "To be is to be perceived," suggesting that without our observation, the existence of objects and the world diminishes. This viewpoint can lead to a deeply personal interpretation of reality. Our individual experiences and perceptions shape the world around us, a notion that can be both liberating and unsettling. As we navigate these vast philosophical landscapes, we are left with enduring questions. If everything we perceive is a reflection of our consciousness, how do we differentiate between reality and illusion? Are our experiences genuine if they are shaped by variables beyond our control? The essence of our existence may very well hinge upon our interpretations, straddling the fine line between reality and the dreamlike. Ultimately, as we delve deeper into the nature of reality, we confront a beautifully complex landscape filled with uncertainty. Instead of seeking a definitive answer, let us embrace the questions themselves. Perhaps it is in this very exploration that we find meaning, traveling through the shadows of doubt and wonder, perpetually seeking the light of understanding that, while elusive, enriches our journey through life. Dreams versus reality. Where do we draw the line? Imagine a serene morning. You wake up, memories of a dream still swirling in your mind, vivid colors and emotions clinging to you like morning dew. In this dream, you soared over mountains, felt pure joy radiating from within, and met people you love. Yet as you awaken, the colors fade, the emotions dissipate, and you're faced with the starkness of your surroundings. Was the dream simply an illusion, or could it hold a deeper truth? Where do we draw the line between dreams and reality? This dilemma invites us to reflect on the nature of existence itself. Philosophers throughout history have grappled with the distinction between dream and reality. René Descartes, in his famed Meditations, questioned the fabric of reality when he pondered whether he was, in fact, dreaming. He proposed that even the act of doubting one's existence is a form of thinking, hence affirming cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. Yet Descartes also left us wondering, can we truly trust our perceptions? In modern psychological discourse, we often explore dreams as windows into our subconscious. Sigmund Freud believed that dreams were manifestations of our hidden desires and fears, a realm where the restrictions of waking life dissolve. In this perspective, dreams are not merely illusions. Rather, they are profound reflections of our inner worlds. But in a practical sense, how do we reconcile these rich inner experiences with the apparent straightforwardness of reality? Consider the phenomenon of lucid dreaming, where one recognizes they are dreaming and can manipulate the dream's narrative. Is this a form of control over a reality, albeit a fabricated one? Some argue that the emotional truths conveyed in our dreams, fear, joy, longing, carry weight beyond their apparent, unreal nature. Cognitive scientists like Stephen LaBerge suggest that these dream experiences can teach us about ourselves and our waking lives. Are we losing something valuable by dismissing these nocturnal narratives simply because they lack physical form? On the contrary, empirical philosophers like John Locke argue for a more concrete understanding of reality, establishing that knowledge comes primarily through experience. To Locke, the physical world is where meaning exists, suggesting that dreams, being fleeting and ephemeral, lack the solidity that informs our understanding of existence. In today's world, where virtual realities and augmented experiences intertwine with our daily lives, we find ourselves confronting even greater questions. If technology can create immersive realities indistinguishable from our own perceptions, how do we discern what is real? Think of the value of dreaming in our aspirations and goals. Allowing ourselves to dream can cultivate creativity and innovation. The boundary between dreams and reality may not be defined by opposition, but rather by a spectrum, where what is imagined aids in shaping our lived experiences. Yet as adults, many often dismiss the whimsical nature of dreams in favor of tangible realities, thereby curbing their potential to inspire. In navigating this philosophical labyrinth, we find ourselves at a crossroads. Dreams and reality intertwine, reflecting not only our perceptions, but also our aspirations as human beings. Each night, when we close our eyes, we leap into realms where imagination reigns untethered. Are dreams merely pathways to escapism, or can they illuminate truths we might otherwise overlook? As you ponder this intricate dance between dreams and reality, consider the stories your dreams tell you as reflections of your deepest desires and the uncharted territories of your consciousness. Does the line between the two become blurred in the quiet moments of introspection? In the end, perhaps it isn't about finding definitive answers, but embracing the transformative power of both dreaming and waking, each serving as a guide in our ongoing quest for understanding and meaning. The art of illusion, how magicians play with perception. Imagine yourself in a crowded theater, the lights dim, the atmosphere charged with anticipation. A magician steps into the spotlight, deftly pulling a rabbit from an empty hat or making a volunteer vanish into thin air. As applause reverberates, a question lingers. What just happened? Were you merely entertained, or did the magician instill something deeper within your perception? This interplay between reality and illusion invites us to consider a fascinating philosophical dilemma surrounding the nature of perception itself. At its core, magic challenges our understanding of what we see and believe. Thinkers like René Descartes and Immanuel Kant have long pondered the intrinsic relationship between perception and reality. Descartes' skepticism urges us to consider whether our senses can be trusted. After all, if an illusion can be so convincing, how do we know our entire experience isn't an elaborate deception? Meanwhile, Kant's idea that our understanding of the world is shaped by our senses makes us question the essence of reality. Is there a thing in itself fundamentally separate from our perceptions, or is our experience all there is? Magicians, through their impeccable artistry, embody a deeper exploration of these philosophical inquiries. They create illusions that exploit cognitive biases and sensory perceptions, unveiling how our minds can be easily manipulated. This brings to mind the philosophical positions of empiricism and rationalism. While empiricists argue that knowledge comes from sensory experience, rationalists suggest that reason holds the key to understanding reality. The magician, in blending both, entices us to marvel at the cleverness of illusion while provoking a more profound introspection about truth itself. In today's world, the theme of perception stretches beyond the realm of magical tricks. Social media, with its filtering capabilities and curated stories, creates an environment rife with illusions. Filtered lives and exaggerated narratives become the new norm. We navigate a landscape where the lines between reality and artifice blur, raising questions about authenticity in our interactions and the illusions we craft to fit societal norms. Philosophers like Jean Baudrillard argue that in our hyperreal society, distinctions between what is real and what is simulated are increasingly tenuous. The relevance of this philosophical exploration is stark. Much like a magician's performance, our encounters with the world can often deceive us. We may believe we fully understand a situation or a person based purely on what we perceive. Yet, just as in magic, there are layers beneath the surface. This compels us to reflect. What happens when we unmask these illusions? How does our grasp on reality shift, and what do we discover about ourselves in the process? As you ponder the intricacies of perception, consider the magicians of life, those who craft convincing facades that entice us to question the world around us. Can we learn to be more discerning observers, or will we remain entranced by the allure of illusion? Much like magic, our journey through perception invites us to reflect deeply on the nature of truth and the stories we tell ourselves. Perhaps the greatest paradox lies not in what we see, but in what we believe, and in that, we find endless avenues of thought to explore. As the curtain falls on this performance of perception, the questions only deepen. Are we the magicians of our own lives, or are we simply spectators in a grand illusion? Optical illusions, what they teach us about perception. Imagine standing before a painting that seems to shift and change as you move through the room. One moment, it appears to be a simple arrangement of shapes. The next, you are entranced by a vivid scene coming to life. What does this experience reveal about the nature of reality and perception? Are our senses reliable guides to truth, or do they merely paint a facade over something deeper? Optical illusions serve as a striking metaphor for the complexities of our perception. At first glance, we may think we are seeing things as they truly are, yet these visual tricks remind us that our perception can be easily deceived. Here lies a philosophical inquiry into the nature of reality itself. Are we experiencing the world objectively, or is our understanding shaped by subjective interpretation? This dilemma echoes the thoughts of philosophers like Immanuel Kant, who suggested that while the world exists independently of human experience, we only know it through the lenses of our senses. Our perception is a filter, a necessary one for navigating the complexities of life, yet also a potential source of distortion. Kant introduces the notion of phenomena and noumena, positing that the world as we perceive it is but an appearance, a construct shaped by our cognitive faculties that masks the true nature of reality. In contrast, philosophers like David Hume posited a more skeptical view of perception. He argued that our beliefs about the external world are built on habits of thought rather than any rational foundation, a continuous cycle of experience leading us to draw conclusions that may not hold in the face of contradictory evidence. An optical illusion might serve as a reminder of Hume's assertion that what we see is not necessarily what is real, but rather a projection of our mind's interpretations. In the contemporary world, the implications of this philosophical issue extend far beyond mere aesthetics. In an age where virtual and augmented realities are becoming commonplace, our understanding of perception is continually challenged. Social media, for instance, crafts curated realities that often have little bearing on the nuanced truths of people's lives. The seductive allure of the perfect image can warp our perceptions of beauty, success, and happiness, revealing the lengths to which our interpretations can be manipulated. Consider the Dunning-Kruger effect, which illustrates how individuals with limited knowledge often overestimate their competence. In this sense, optical illusions echo larger questions of self-awareness and critical thinking. If we can be so easily fooled by visual cues, how much more susceptible are we to the illusions woven throughout our daily lives? Are we not at times like figures in an optical puzzle, attempting to decipher a world rife with complexity and nuance? As we journey through these thoughts, there remains no definitive answer to the question of perception's reliability. The wonders of optical illusions push us to confront the fragility of our understanding, compelling us to question not only what we see, but how we perceive reality itself. In the quiet moments that follow this reflection, we may find ourselves pondering deeper inquiries. What are the illusions within our own lives? How do we navigate the divide between perception and truth? And what can we learn from recognizing the paths our minds lead us down? The exploration of perception invites us to remain forever curious and to embrace the profound mystery behind what it means to truly see. The power of perspective, how views shape our reality. Imagine two people standing on opposite sides of a vast canyon, each gazing at a breathtaking sunset. One sees the colors as a vibrant blend of orange, pink, and purple, marveling at the beauty of nature, while the other perceives the scene as a reminder of their isolation and the risks of falling. Both behold the same sunset, yet their experiences are profoundly different, dictated not by the scenery itself, but by the lenses through which they view it. How can a single moment evoke such contrasting feelings? This scenario sparks a deep philosophical inquiry into the power of perspective, how our individual experiences, beliefs, and contexts shape our understanding of reality. The philosopher George Berkeley famously argued that to be is to be perceived, suggesting that our perception creates reality. This aligns with the view that our subjective experiences can influence the objective world we inhabit. Yet could it be that reality exists independently of our perceptions, waiting to be discovered, as posited by philosophers like Immanuel Kant? Kant introduced the concept of the phenomenal and noumenal worlds, distinguishing between what we perceive and what exists beyond perception. Our minds, he argued, structure our experiences through categories like space and time, indicating that while we can never access the true essence of reality, the noumenal, our subjective interpretation, the phenomenal, is all that we know. This distinction raises a poignant question. If our perspectives are profoundly shaped by our experiences, are we ever capable of grasping an objective reality? In modern society, the power of perspective plays a significant role. Our backgrounds, cultural, social, and educational, serve as the lenses through which we interpret the world. Take the polarized discussions surrounding climate change. Those who witness its effects firsthand, such as farmers facing drought, may view urgent action as imperative, while others, distant from its impacts, may remain skeptical, perhaps fearing economic implications or questioning scientific consensus. Each viewpoint stems from personal context, yet they converge around the same underlying reality, leading to conflict and misunderstanding. Using the lens of existentialism, philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre emphasize the weight of individual perspective. Sartre contended that we are condemned to be free, burdened by the responsibility to define our essence through our choices. This notion inspires reflection. If our perspectives direct our choices, do we have the agency to reshape our realities, or are we prisoners of our interpretations? Consider mindfulness practices prevalent today. They encourage individuals to observe their thoughts and feelings without judgment, suggesting that by altering our perspectives, we can transform our experiences of the world. This aligns with psychological theories like cognitive behavioral therapy, which posit that our thoughts shape our emotions and behaviors. Yet, to what extent can modifying our perspective alter our reality? Can we transcend our deeply embedded biases simply through will? As you ponder the power of perspective in shaping our reality, let the opposing views of our canyon observers linger. One person finds solace in beauty, and the other sees peril. In this tension lies a fertile ground for growth and understanding. Each of us drifts through life with our own perspective, colored by personal experiences, cultural narratives, and emotional landscapes. We might ask ourselves, how might embracing diverse perspectives expand our own understanding of the world? Can acknowledging the richness of multiple viewpoints lead to a deeper, more nuanced reality? The answers may remain elusive, inviting a continuous journey of reflection and exploration. Life as a dream, philosophical musings on existence. Imagine waking up one morning only to discover that the vibrant world around you, the sights, sounds, colors, and even your very sense of self, is nothing more than an intricate dream spiraling in the recesses of your mind. As you ponder this reality, a question unfolds. What if everything we perceive, every emotion we feel, and every relationship we cherish is merely a fabrication of our consciousness. This thought aligns closely with the philosophical musings of idealists like George Berkeley, who suggested that to exist is to be perceived. According to his view, objects do not have an independent existence outside of our sensory experiences. If the essence of reality depends on our perception, can we ever truly ascertain what is real? Or are we, akin to characters in a dream, merely reflecting our own desires and fears without comprehending a deeper, underlying truth? Consider the disquieting implications of such a perspective. When we experience joy, sorrow, love, or loss, are these genuine feelings, or merely products of an elaborate illusion played out in the theater of the mind? René Descartes famously expressed skepticism about the nature of existence with his saying, "Cogito ergo sum," I think, therefore I am. Yet if our thoughts reside within a dreamscape, what does that imply about our very essence? Are we mere phantoms drifting within our consciousness, questioning the solidity of the ground we tread upon? Contrasting views emerge from existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre, who assert that existence precedes essence. For Sartre, even if life carries the undertones of a dream, it is our freedom to act and forge our own meaning that truly defines us. This stance offers a sense of agency amid the uncertainty. The dream may sway us, but our reactions shape the narrative of our lives. In a world filled with ambiguity, perhaps it is our courage to confront the dreamlike nature of existence that delivers authentic experiences. The dream metaphor resonates in our modern lives as we navigate an age filled with constant distractions, social media echo chambers, and curated realities. Are we living in a shared dream, shaped by collective narratives, filtered through screens, devoid of genuine intimacy? As the lines blur between dreams and reality, our interactions increasingly reflect mediated experiences rather than direct engagement with the world around us. This dilemma beckons the question, how do we reclaim our senses and rediscover the authenticity of life while immersed in this digital dream? Philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche have explored these themes, advocating for the embrace of life in all its chaos, uncertainty, and beauty, even if it resembles a transient dream. He posited that the value of existence lies not in its permanence, but in the fleeting moments that offer joy, connection, and insight. Perhaps it is not the quest for a verifiable reality that matters most, but rather how we choose to interpret our experiences. As we float through this contemplation of existence, we find ourselves in the company of enigmatic questions that remain eternally unanswered. Are we dreamers, creators, or mere reflections of an unknown reality? Life's beauty may well lie in the exploration of these uncertainties as we continue to drift, awaken, and dream anew. What if, within the folds of our dreams, lies the essence of existence itself, a tapestry woven with the threads of perception, intention, and the inescapable search for meaning? What dreams guide your path today? The science of illusions, why our minds are deceptive. Imagine you're standing in front of a beautiful painting, mesmerized by the intricate details and vibrant colors. Yet as you take a closer look, you realize that the image is not what it seems. The colors swirl together in an illusion, creating shapes that tease your perception, shifting and changing with every glance. This subtle trickery of the senses invites a profound question. If our perceptions can deceive us so easily in something as simple as art, how can we trust our understanding of reality itself? This dilemma lies at the heart of the philosophical inquiry into the nature of perception and reality. Our minds are often seen as a window to the world, providing us insight, but what if that window is clouded, stained by biases and limitations? The philosopher René Descartes famously grappled with this issue, suggesting in his meditations that reality as we know it might be a construct, a deceptive dream orchestrated by a malevolent demon. If our senses can mislead us, he pondered, how can we ascertain what is truly real? Contrastingly, Immanuel Kant posited that while our senses do mediate our experience of the world, there still exists a realm of noumena, a reality beyond our perception. According to Kant, we can never fully grasp this world of things in themselves because our understanding is limited to phenomena, the world as it appears to us. This invites us to consider that the very fabric of our reality is woven from interpretative illusions shaped by our cognitive frameworks. Modern science supports these philosophical musings, revealing how our brain constructs reality. Optical illusions demonstrate how easily the mind can be tricked. Cognitive biases, such as confirmation bias or the Dunning-Kruger effect, further illustrate the ways our judgments can be misled. For instance, we often seek information that confirms our existing beliefs while disregarding contradicting evidence, forming a comforting yet deceptive narrative. In this light, our perceptions can feel less like a reflection of reality and more like a canvas splashed with distortions, emotions coloring the way we interpret the world. The implications are profound, resonating deeply in our everyday lives. In a society inundated with information, social media, news cycles, and constant connectivity, our worldview often twists with the illusions created by others' perspectives. We constantly negotiate our reality, interpreting others' intentions and emotions through a lens that may distort as much as clarify. This becomes even more critical when considering issues like morality, justice, and truth, areas where the illusions of perception can lead to real-world consequences. Yet, as we reflect on these dilemmas, we find that perhaps the exploration itself is more important than arriving at a definitive answer. Are our illusions a hindrance to understanding, or do they enrich our experience of life? Might it be that the very fabric of our existence is threaded with the complexities of perception, shaping our personal truths? When each of us sees the world through a unique lens, does that not create a beautiful tapestry of shared yet distinct experiences? Thus, as we ponder the science of illusions and the deceptive nature of our minds, we are invited to engage in a continuous journey of reflection. By embracing our limitations and uncertainties, we can cultivate a deeper sense of empathy and understanding, both for ourselves and our fellow travelers. In a world filled with illusions, perhaps the wisest approach is to remain curious, always questioning, and ever open to the myriad ways reality can be perceived, yet never fully grasped. Illusions of control. How much do we really influence our lives? Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast, flowing river. The water rushes by, strong and relentless, carrying with it leaves, branches, and even the occasional feather. As you look out upon the current, you might wonder, to what extent can you influence this river's path? You might step in and attempt to redirect a floating leaf, but will that truly change the course of the water? This moment reflects a deep philosophical inquiry into the nature of control and choice in our lives. To what extent are we really the architects of our destinies? The illusion of control is a complex philosophical issue that touches on free will, determinism, and the unpredictability of existence. The ancient Stoics, such as Epictetus, believed in distinguishing between what we can control, our thoughts, reactions, and choices, and what we cannot, including external events and the actions of others. This perspective invites us to focus our energy on our internal world rather than futilely wrestling with life's uncertainties. However, the Stoics' conviction raises questions about the extent to which our choices matter when larger forces, such as fate or nature, seem to govern the fabric of our lives. In stark contrast stands the existentialist viewpoint, prominently articulated by philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre, who assert that we are, indeed, free to shape our own lives. Sartre famously declared, "Existence precedes essence," suggesting that we are thrown into a world without predetermined purpose, yet it is within this absurdity that we find our freedom. According to existentialists, the burdens of choice come with both the exhilarating potential for self-creation and the paralyzing weight of responsibility. In this sense, our perceived control can feel empowering yet terrifying. Modern psychology adds further nuance to our understanding of control. Research on the illusion of control reveals that people often overestimate their ability to influence outcomes in random events, like gambling or lottery games. This cognitive bias suggests that our brains are hardwired to seek patterns and connections, even when they do not exist. In a world filled with chaos, believing we have control can offer an illusion of stability, allowing us to navigate through life with relative calm. But what happens when we confront moments that starkly reveal our lack of control? The loss of a loved one, the unpredictability of illness, the whims of the stock market. Interestingly, these very experiences often lead us to profound epiphanies. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and founder of logotherapy, illustrated this beautifully. He argued that while we may not control our circumstances, we can control our responses and attitudes toward them. In his harrowing journey through concentration camps, Frankl discovered that finding meaning, even in suffering, could provide a semblance of control amidst chaos. The question remains, how can we reconcile our desire for control with the reality of uncertainty? Perhaps the answer lies not in the binary of having control versus lacking it, but rather in embracing the fluidity of our existence. It invites us to recognize our agency while acknowledging the vast, unpredictable currents of life around us. So as you sit with this contemplation, consider, how do you navigate your own river of life? What does control mean to you, and in what ways might accepting the unpredictable foster a deeper sense of peace? The journey into the heart of this dilemma invites us to explore the delicate interplay between our choices and the world's inherent uncertainties, leaving us to ponder the beauty found in both control and letting go. The role of myth in understanding reality, stories that shape us. Imagine walking through a quiet forest, the dappled sunlight filtering through the leaves, the gentle rustle of the wind whispering secrets long forgotten. Suddenly, you come across an ancient stone, intricately carved with symbols and figures. In that moment, you feel a profound connection to something larger than yourself, an echo of tales that have shaped cultures, beliefs, and identities for millennia. What if I told you that our understanding of reality is largely influenced by the myths we tell and retell, echoing through generations like the whispers of that forest? Myths, in their essence, are more than mere stories. They are frameworks through which we construct our understanding of the world. Philosophers such as Joseph Campbell, who studied the common themes of myths, argued that these narratives convey universal truths about the human experience, allowing us to make sense of our existence in a vast and often chaotic universe. Campbell's concept of the hero's journey, for instance, illustrates how individuals embark on quests, face trials, and ultimately undergo personal transformation. This archetypical narrative resonates deeply within us, offering a mirror to our struggles, aspirations, and identities. Yet, contrasting views emerge in this discussion. Friedrich Nietzsche famously critiqued the reliance on myths, proclaiming that the death of God signifies a crisis of meaning in modern existence. For Nietzsche, the narratives we cling to can at times become restrictive, confining our understanding rather than expanding it. He urged humanity to create its own values and meanings in a world devoid of absolute truths. In this light, myths can either empower or imprison, shaping our reality while simultaneously limiting our potential for genuine understanding. In contemporary society, we witness the potency of myths manifesting through various forms: literature, movies, and even social media narratives. The stories we consume and share shape our collective consciousness and influence our perception of realities. Consider how heroic archetypes in popular culture resonate with us, guiding our moral compasses and defining societal ideals. However, the question arises, do these modern myths uplift us or reinforce superficial constructs of identity and success? The interplay between myth and reality becomes evident in discussions about identity formation. In our quest for belonging, we immerse ourselves in narratives that offer comfort and validation. Yet this engagement often leads to an oversimplification of complex identities, reducing them to mere tropes or cliches. Philosopher Michel Foucault argued that power dynamics within these myths shape societal norms and expectations, compelling individuals to conform to prescribed narratives. When myths become dogmas, we risk losing the nuanced understanding of what it means to be human. As we ponder the role of myth in our lives, we can't help but feel the pulse of this inquiry echoing through our hearts. These stories, ancient or modern, serve as vessels of meaning, yet they can shape us in unforeseen ways. They challenge us to question our beliefs, encouraging exploration rather than acceptance. In this quiet reflection, we find ourselves at a crossroads of understanding, invited to contemplate how our chosen narratives influence our perceptions of reality. Perhaps the greatest gift of engaging with myths is recognizing their inherent fluidity. They evolve, adapt, and reflect the zeitgeist of their time, while resonating with the universal human experience. As we embark on our journeys, we become both storytellers and listeners, weaving our lives into the tapestry of time. The question lingers: which myths shall we embrace, and how will they shape our understanding of reality? In the end, it is through this exploration that we uncover not just the essence of our stories, but also the depth of our shared humanity. Illusions of time. Is the past really set in stone? Imagine walking through a dense forest, each step echoing the whispers of autumn leaves fluttering behind you. The air is crisp, filled with the aroma of pine and earthy soil, as you contemplate the trails that stretch ahead. But what if I told you that those paths you've walked, along with every choice you've made, are far more elusive than they seem? Can we truly think the past is fixed, an unchangeable stone, or might it shape-shift like the clouds above? This question points us to the very nature of time itself, an intricate tapestry woven with moments, memories, and experiences. Philosophers have long pondered whether the past exists in a definitive state, waiting in silence to be unearthed, or if it's a mere illusion, shaped by our ever-shifting perception. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus famously posited that you cannot step into the same river twice, suggesting that even familiar experiences are in a constant state of flux. If the past only exists in our minds, then can we ever truly define its boundaries? Contrasting with this notion is the theory of eternalism, embodied by philosophers like McTaggart, and more recently, the physicist Carlo Rovelli, who argue that all points in time, past, present, and future, coexist. They envision time less as a flowing river and more as a landscape, with every moment existing simultaneously. In this view, the past isn't just a collection of faded memories, but holds a lasting presence, intertwining with our present actions and future possibilities. Can the comfort in realizing that our yesterdays dwell alongside our tomorrows allow us to navigate our lives with deeper awareness? In our modern world, this debate resonates more than ever. Consider the influence of memory on our mental well-being. For many, past traumas cast long shadows that dim current experiences. Cognitive behavioral therapy often invites us to revisit those shadows, reframing them to foster healing. This leads us to contemplate: if our recollections can be softened or reshaped, what if the past isn't fixed? What if it's an ever-evolving story, one that alters with each retelling? Yet, we also encounter the compelling argument for the immutability of the past. The concept of causality, immortalized by thinkers like David Hume, asserts that past events lead inexorably to present circumstances. If every action leads to a distinct consequence, can we afford to say that the past is anything but a firm foundation upon which our lives are built? How do we reconcile this with our internal narratives that suggest we can reinterpret and, in some cases, transcend past hurt? As we meditate on this dilemma, it becomes clear that our relationship with time, like the forest path we tread, is complex and layered. Just as we can choose various routes as the seasons change, so too can we navigate our understanding of the past, present, and future. However, the slippery nature of memory begs an essential question. Is the past merely a series of fixed moments, or a living, breathing text we have the power to edit? In this serene contemplation of time, we invite ourselves to remain open to the depths of this exploration. Could the past be both an unyielding stone and a fluid river? Perhaps it is the interplay between the two that grants us the wisdom to grow, learn, and reflect. So, as you walk this introspective path, allow the echoes of yesterday to inform your steps, yet remain open to the possibility that your understanding of them may evolve, inviting you to redefine your journey anew. The filtered world, how social media alters our perception. Imagine for a moment that you open your favorite social media app. You are immediately greeted by a vibrant stream of images: sunlit beaches, delectable meals, and smiling faces. Each post is meticulously curated, portraying a life that seems far removed from the everyday challenges we all face. As you scroll, do you find yourself feeling inspired, or do you grapple with a nagging sense of inadequacy? This personal experience unveils a profound philosophical dilemma. How does the filtered world of social media shape our perception of reality and, consequently, ourselves? At the heart of this dilemma lies the notion of authenticity and representation. The philosopher Jean Baudrillard famously argued that in a society flooded with images and signs, we risk losing any tangible connection to reality. Social media presents an altered lens through which we view ourselves and others, often preferring an idealized version of life that may not exist beyond the screen. As we compare our unedited lives to the carefully constructed narratives online, we might start to question the very nature of what is real and what is mere illusion. Consider the contrasting perspectives offered by Aristotle's idea of eudaimonia, or flourishing, versus Friedrich Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch. Aristotle believed that true happiness stems from living virtuously and engaging meaningfully with the world around us. Yet social media often encourages us to chase after superficial forms of validation, likes, shares, and approval that may distract us from genuine experiences of eudaimonia. Nietzsche, on the other hand, challenges us to transcend conventional morality and create our own values. In a digital world designed for constant comparison, could social media be interpreted as a tool for artistic self-creation, or does it instead produce a conforming society? As we navigate through these platforms entrenched in highlight reels, we must confront the psychological effects of this filtered existence. Research indicates that prolonged exposure to idealized portrayals can lead to decreased self-esteem and a distorted body image. In this light, the philosopher Simone de Beauvoir's assertion that one is not born but rather becomes a woman resonates deeply. Our online personas can lead us to question our identities, striving to become who we think we should be rather than embracing our authentic selves. Yet there is hope amidst the scrutiny. The democratic nature of social media has also empowered marginalized voices to share their stories, broadening our understanding of the human experience. As we connect with diverse perspectives, we might remind ourselves of the philosopher Martha Nussbaum's focus on empathy and moral imagination. Engaging with these narratives can deepen our awareness of the complexities of life, enabling us to foster compassion instead of envy. As the digital sphere continues to evolve, we are left pondering the implications of our behavior online. Are we curators of authenticity or mere participants in a grand performance? What happens when we realize that the likes we crave are fleeting, while the depth of our real-world connections can nourish us for a lifetime? This exploration invites us to reflect on our relationship with social media, urging us to question not only what we share, but also how it shapes our self-perception and worldview. In this intricate dance between our online identities and authentic selves, we discover the delicate balance of embracing our multifaceted existence, a reminder that perhaps, amidst the filtered chaos, the quest for true understanding and connection remains humanity's ultimate goal. So what will you choose to curate in your life today? Philosophical skepticism. Can we trust our senses? Imagine standing on a foggy beach where the horizon blurs into a mist. As you gaze out, you see a majestic ship gradually emerge, its sails catching the light. But as it draws closer, you realize it's merely a mirage, a trick of the light. In that moment, you may wonder, how often do our senses betray us? Can we truly trust the information they provide about the world around us, or are we subject to an elaborate illusion, mere puppets of our perceptions? This is the heart of philosophical skepticism, a branch of philosophy that questions the limits of knowledge, particularly regarding the reliability of our senses. Skeptics like René Descartes famously posed this fundamental challenge. In his Meditations, Descartes famously doubted everything that could possibly be doubted, arriving at the conclusion that while he could not trust his senses, the very act of doubt proved his existence. Cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. On one side, there's the empiricist perspective, championed by philosophers such as John Locke and David Hume, who argued that knowledge arises from sensory experience. They believed that our understanding of the world is built on the foundation of what we perceive. Yet these thinkers also acknowledged the pitfalls of relying solely on our senses. Hume, for example, pointed out how easily our perceptions can deceive us. After all, sighting a ship may lead to wonder, but it can also lead to confusion when the image shifts into something entirely different. Counter to this, the rationalist perspective maintains that reason, rather than sensory experience, can be the source of knowledge. Thinkers like Immanuel Kant suggested that our senses are interpreted through innate categories of understanding. While this offers a buffer against deception, it also raises questions about the limits of human perception. If we filter all experiences through our own cognitive frameworks, are we seeing the world as it truly is, or only as we are capable of understanding it? In today's digital age, these philosophical concerns resonate more than ever. We are bombarded by contrasting images, sound bites, and narratives. Social media platforms curate our experiences, reinforcing our biases and shaping our worldview. Just as the ship on the horizon revealed the playfulness of light and shadow, we find ourselves questioning the very reality of the information that surrounds us. If our senses can be manipulated through technology, deepfakes, photo edits, virtual realities, how can we trust them to provide an accurate depiction of our lives and the world at large? The implications continue to echo in our daily interactions. Trust in our senses, once a cornerstone of human experience, now feels fragile, needing constant affirmation. What was once a straightforward observation has become a complex inquiry into perception, belief, and understanding. As we step back from this reflection, we find ourselves at a crossroads. The world may be shrouded in uncertainty, our senses both illuminating and clouding our understanding. Perhaps the truth lies not in a definitive answer, but in the willingness to remain curious, to embrace the mystery of existence. Can we trust our senses? This philosophical skepticism invites ongoing exploration, prompting us to question reality, allowing each layer of perception to reveal more questions than answers, and guiding us on an ever-evolving journey into the depths of thought and existence. Visualizing the invisible, the wonders of abstract art. Imagine standing in front of a large canvas splattered with vibrant colors that swirl and dance before your eyes. You see splashes of blue and bursts of yellow, but there's no clear image or representation. You find yourself pondering, what does this mean? Is it simply a collection of paint, or does it invite something deeper, a reflection of emotions, concepts, or the very essence of existence itself? This scenario introduces us to the philosophical complexities of abstract art, where the invisible becomes visible through color, form, and imagination. At its core, abstract art challenges our conventional understandings of representation and meaning. It invites us to confront the very nature of perception and reality. Thinkers like Wassily Kandinsky viewed abstraction as a means to express the spiritual and the emotional dimensions of human experience, arguing that pure colors and forms resonate with inner feelings rather than depict the outer world. In his view, abstraction transcends literal representation, encouraging viewers to engage with art on a deeper, more personal level. Yet, one might wonder, can art exist purely for its aesthetic qualities, devoid of meaning or intention? The philosopher Arthur Danto famously suggested that the meaning of a work arises not just from its content, but also from the context in which it is presented. This raises a pertinent question. Does abstract art require the viewer to impose meaning, or does it silently communicate its significance in ways we yet to fully grasp? In contemporary society, the struggle with visualizing the invisible resonates beyond the realm of art. We navigate abstract concepts in various forms, love, justice, and morality, for instance. Like abstract art, these dimensions are often intangible, calling on us to reflect and interpret. How do we translate complex feelings into something communicable? What if the emotions we confront are as chaotic as the colors upon a canvas? Here the existentialist notions of philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre come to play. The quest for meaning in a seemingly indifferent universe compels us to create our own narratives, whether through art or our daily lives. Yet, contrasting perspectives illuminate the ongoing debate. Some critics assert that meaning in art must be anchored to the artist's intention or societal context. The philosopher Leo Tolstoy emphasized that genuine art should convey a specific emotion or narrative, fostering shared understanding within a community. Under this view, abstract art's ambiguity might seem like a failure to communicate, leaving viewers adrift without guidance. But perhaps this ambiguity is a provocation, encouraging an exploration of personal truths. The experience of standing before an abstract painting can mirror the intricacies of human existence. We confront uncertainties, emotions, and questions that defy straightforward answers. Just as the colors on the canvas might blend chaotically, so too do our lives intertwine in complex patterns that don't always reveal themselves clearly. Ultimately, the journey through abstract art forces us to embrace the tension between clarity and ambiguity, meaning and meaninglessness. As we gaze at the canvas, we may not discover a definitive answer, but rather a space for contemplation and dialogue. In this sense, the invisible gains visibility through our thoughts, emotions, and reflections, cultivating a deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us. In a society laden with complexity and chaos, perhaps the true wonder of abstract art lies not in its forms, but in its capacity to evoke personal interpretations and emotional responses. As we continue to explore the interplay of the seen and unseen, we are left with an invitation. Will you remain engaged with the canvas of your own experiences, seeking the invisible wonders that lie within? The illusion of choice. Are our decisions truly free? Imagine standing in front of a vast array of ice cream flavors at your favorite parlor. With so many options, chocolate, vanilla, mint chip, or perhaps a unique lavender, your mind races as you consider each possibility. You finally make a choice, perhaps strawberry, convinced you have freely decided what to indulge in. But what if that choice was merely an illusion? Are you truly the architect of your decision, or are unseen forces guiding your hand towards that scoop of strawberry? This thought-provoking scenario invites us to explore the philosophical dilemma surrounding free will and the extent of our autonomy in decision-making. The question can be unsettling. If our choices are influenced by genetics, upbringing, or even the cultural context in which we live, what does it mean to act freely? When we consider thinkers like determinists, who argue that every action is a result of preceding causes, we find ourselves pondering if randomness or predestination shapes our lives. Renowned philosophers like Baruch Spinoza and later B.F. Skinner proposed ideas that suggest our sense of freedom is merely an intricate facade. Spinoza believed that understanding our desires leads to better living. To be truly free is to act according to the necessity of our nature. Skinner took this further, suggesting that behaviors are responses to environmental stimuli. Our choices, he argued, are reactions conditioned by past experiences, societal expectations, and even biological instincts. What feels like free choice could simply be the culmination of these forces operating harmoniously within us. In contrast, notable advocates of free will, such as Jean-Paul Sartre, insist that we possess the ability to define ourselves through our choices. Sartre argued that we are condemned to be free, burdened by the responsibility of our actions, as every decision reveals our essence. Yet this assertion raises questions about the nature of choice itself. Are we as free as we believe, or are our desires, fears, and obligations pulling the strings? To connect these philosophical nuances to our modern lives, consider the social media algorithms tailored to each user. With tailored feeds dictating our news, interests, and even friendships, does this not create an echo chamber? The choices we make about what to consume or engage with may appear spontaneous, yet they often reflect the manipulation of complex systems designed to keep us engaged. Have our minds, shaped by external forces, ever been truly free in this context, or are they navigated through channels constructed for us? Yet, even as we entertain the complexities of determinism and free will, it's crucial to recognize the place of personal agency. Perhaps our choices rest in the intersection between influence and independence. While our environments shape us, can we still carve out spaces for autonomy amid external pressures? The figure of Viktor Frankl serves as a poignant reminder. Even in the darkest circumstances, we hold the power to choose our attitudes toward those events. As we ponder this intricate web of influence and decision-making, we are left with more questions than answers. What does it mean to choose freely if we are conditioned creatures? Do we differentiate in any significant way between the ice cream we select and the broader choices in our lives? Are we completely in control, or are we actors playing predetermined roles in a script written by genetics and society? Perhaps meaningful reflection reveals not conclusive answers, but an enduring curiosity about the nature of our choices, urging us to inquire further into the depths of our existence. Nature as illusion, how environment shapes perspective. Imagine a child raised in an isolated environment, surrounded only by nature, free from human influence. This child grows up believing that every aspect of their world is natural and untamed, untouched by civilization. Yet at a certain point, they encounter the outside world, urban life, technology, and human-made structures. In that moment, the child must reconcile the two realities, the serene wilderness they knew and the bustling constructs of society. What does this say about the very nature of reality itself? Are the things we perceive as real merely reflections of our environments, shaped by experiences, beliefs, and the narratives we accept? This introduces us to a profound philosophical dilemma about reality and perception. The notion that our surroundings influence our understanding of existence is not merely a poetic reflection. It invites deeper inquiry into the relationship between nature and illusion. Philosophers like George Berkeley famously argued that to be is to be perceived. For him, the physical world as we know it exists because it is seen. If it were not observed, it might as well not exist. In this light, our environment is not just a backdrop, but a vital force shaping our beliefs and understanding of reality. Contrastingly, figures like Immanuel Kant offered a different perspective. Kant proposed that while our experiences are indeed influenced by our perceptions, there is an objective world beyond our senses, the noumenal realm, out there independent of our perception. He argued that while we can never truly know this world directly, it exists and provides the framework within which our subjective experiences unfold. To Kant, establishing a distinction between the natural world and the illusions crafted by our senses reveals the layered complexity of reality. Consider our modern lives. Social media, news, and cultural narratives create lenses through which we interpret events, guiding our emotions and decisions. Our environment, whether digital or physical, shapes who we are and how we see the world. Psychological studies illustrate the concept of cognitive bias, how our experiences, influenced by context, can lead us to draw conclusions that may not hold in alternate environments. The urban dweller perceives vast opportunities in city life, while someone from a rural background may find solace and beauty in nature's simplicity. Thus, an objective truth about life seems elusive, wrapped in subjective perception shaped by our surroundings. Furthermore, the interplay between environmental influences and social constructs reveals unjust disparities in understanding reality. The marginalized often experience the world differently than those privileged to live in nurturing environments. When we consider systemic issues, such as poverty or discrimination, it becomes evident that our environment not only shapes perspective but can profoundly influence potential and self-image. As we reflect on the illusion of nature and reality's construction, we may find comfort in knowing that our perspectives are not fixed. They are fluid, inherently influenced by the ever-changing world around us. Our experiences, woven from the rich tapestry of both natural and man-made environments, encourage us to question deeply held beliefs and embrace a broader understanding of existence. The question remains, if our perceptions shape our reality, what truths lie beyond? Are we merely reflections of our environments, or is there a deeper essence waiting to be uncovered? This journey through perception invites us to linger in that space of inquiry, fostering a curiosity that may lead us down paths we have yet to explore. The mind's playground, the role of imagination in reality. Imagine a quiet evening, a child sitting on the floor surrounded by scattered crayons and an open sketchbook, their imagination swirling like colors on the page. As they draw a fantastical world filled with soaring dragons and enchanted forests, one wonders, is this world any less real than the one outside? This intriguing question invites us to explore the profound relationship between imagination and reality, pondering whether the landscapes of our minds hold power beyond mere fantasy. Philosophers have long contemplated the place of imagination in shaping our understanding of the world. Immanuel Kant distinguished between the phenomena we experience and the noumena we cannot directly know, suggesting that our perceptions create the reality we navigate. In this sense, imagination becomes a vital bridge, allowing us to transcend the limitations of our sensory experiences. Through it, we interpret and sometimes even alter our perception of reality. Yet, if imagination can reshape our understanding, what of the boundaries between creativity and delusion? The philosopher David Hume viewed imagination as a powerful faculty that interweaves feelings and thoughts, asserting that our beliefs are often colored by the subjective lens through which we view the world. Is it possible, then, for one's imaginative constructs to lead them astray, breeding illusions instead of insights? This dilemma highlights the delicate balance. Should we trust our imagination to enhance our reality, or does it risk drawing us into a web of deceit? In modern times, the role of imagination permeates our daily lives. Consider the storyteller, weaving narratives that transport us to different realms. Novels, films, and art all arise from the depths of imagination, reflecting and shaping culture. But with the rise of technology, the distinction between imagination and reality blurs even further. Virtual reality, for instance, immerses users in experiences that feel palpably real. Are these digital escapades mere diversions, or do they hold philosophical significance in how we understand existence and identity? While Immanuel Kant emphasized the necessary role of imagination in forming our experiences, Friedrich Nietzsche might remind us that this faculty also reflects our values and desires. He championed the idea of creating one's own meaning, suggesting that the act of imagining can lead to profound personal transformations. In a world rife with uncertainty and complexity, what if embracing imagination not only enriches our lives, but encourages us to construct our own realities? As we navigate further into the potentialities of our imagination, one must also consider the ethical implications of harnessing this faculty. The philosopher Hannah Arendt emphasized the importance of reflective thought in responsible action. How often do we pause to consider the consequences of our imagined scenarios, the dreams that fuel our ambitions, but could also bear unintended harm? This recognition urges us to engage with our imagination responsibly, ensuring it serves as a source of inspiration rather than a tool for escapism or evasion. Yet, amidst these contemplations, we arrive at a lingering question. If imagination is indeed a playground for the mind, how do we wield this powerful tool effectively in shaping our reality? As the child finishes their drawing, they create a portal through which others may glimpse possibility, reflection, or even solace. Perhaps the true essence of imagination lies not in presenting a definitive vision, but in its ability to open doorways to myriad perspectives and experiences, inviting us to explore, create, and reflect on the ever-expanding canvas of our lives. And so, as you consider your own imaginative landscapes, where will your mind lead you? What creative realms await your exploration? The journey of imagination beckons, and the questions it raises encourage us to reflect deeply, not just on our reality, but on the very nature of existence itself. Virtual reality, blurring the lines between real and imagined. Imagine for a moment that you slip on a headset and are transported to a vivid world, a sun-soaked beach where warm waves gently lap against the shore, or a bustling medieval market echoing with laughter and enticing aromas. Now consider this. If you spend hours, days, or even weeks in this virtual world, experiencing emotions so real they move you to tears or laughter, what happens to your sense of reality? In this age of advancing technology, the lines between the real and the imagined begin to shimmer, inviting us to explore deeper philosophical questions regarding existence, perception, and authenticity. This is the dilemma posed by virtual reality. The experience is immersive, yet fundamentally artificial. The philosopher Jean Baudrillard spoke of hyperreality, where the representation of reality overwhelms the reality itself. In a virtual landscape, everything is designed to elicit genuine feelings, as if it were real. If one can derive profound joy, fear, or comfort from these crafted experiences, how do we evaluate the value of such engagement? Is the emotional authenticity stripped of significance simply because it's staged? In contrast, the philosopher Martin Heidegger emphasized being in the world, the idea that our understanding of existence is formed through our experiences in the physical world. Would he argue that once we immerse ourselves in a digital environment, we lose touch with authentic existence? Heidegger might suggest that there's something vital about the tangible aspects of reality that virtual experiences cannot replicate. Yet, what if these digital interactions enrich our understanding of ourselves or others, creating meaningful connections that transcend their fake origins? We are presented with the notion of experiential authenticity. A resourceful voice in this conversation is philosopher Thomas Nagel, who challenges us to consider the subjective nature of experience. From your perspective in virtual reality, the world feels real. You forge friendships, confront fears, and explore personal truths. The crux of the matter is whether something becomes less meaningful simply because it is technologically mediated. Nagel might invite us to delve into whether an experience, no matter the medium, carries intrinsic value. In today's world, the implications of this philosophical landscape extend beyond leisure into critical topics such as mental health and identity. Many therapists employ virtual reality techniques as therapeutic tools, enabling patients to confront anxieties or traumas in safe yet immersive spaces. The experiences rendered in these digital environments are undeniably potent. They can catalyze healing and self-discovery. Yet, does a reliance on these experiences risk an escape from the complexities of actual life? Furthermore, let's consider the ethical dimensions. For instance, in the realm of gaming or simulated experiences, what happens when virtual scenarios include violent or morally troubling choices? Are we, as immersive participants, subject to moral scrutiny for actions within a fabricated world? What does this imply for our ethical frameworks? Philosopher Slavoj Žižek posits that our engagement in these virtual spaces can reflect our desires and societal baggage, forcing us to confront our values in ways we might refuse to address in the real world. As we ponder these layers to virtual reality, we find ourselves standing at the crossroads of existence, imagination, and ethics. The query remains open. In a world growing ever more virtual, how do we discern the meaningful from the mere illusion? Perhaps, as we navigate these blurred lines, the most poignant question is not whether virtual experiences are real, but rather how they shape our understanding of what it means to be human. As you reflect on this, consider how the virtual may inform your reality, even as it may challenge your perceptions. Where do you draw your own lines between the genuine and the imagined? Illusions in nature, camouflage and deception in the animal kingdom. Imagine walking through a vibrant forest where light dances through the leaves, illuminating every corner with a spectrum of colors. Suddenly, you notice an animal, a creature that at first glance seems to blend seamlessly with its surroundings. As you study the scene, you realize that this animal is not merely cohabitating with its environment. It has become a part of it, a living illusion designed to deceive. This natural phenomenon raises a profound philosophical question. What does it mean to exist authentically in a world filled with deception? In the animal kingdom, camouflage serves as a survival mechanism, an evolutionary strategy that speaks to the intricate dance between predator and prey. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once remarked that life is a will to power, a constant struggle for survival, where being seen can result in peril. Camouflage enables certain creatures to thrive by avoiding the gaze of their hunters, thereby inviting a reflection on the nature of existence and identity. If an animal primarily defines itself through its ability to disguise, can we assert that it possesses an authentic self? One might draw comparisons to our human lives, exploring how we often adopt various masks in different social contexts. Are we not all performers on a stage, dressing ourselves in metaphorical camouflage to fit in, protect, or survive? Jean-Paul Sartre's existentialism suggests that existence precedes essence. In this light, each individual is free to create their identity, much like a cuttlefish shifting its color. Yet, if we constantly adapt and disguise ourselves, does this fluidity dilute our authenticity? Are we losing something essential by conforming to societal expectations? Moreover, this dilemma extends beyond mere survival. The beauty inherent in these illusions challenges our understanding of truth. Martin Heidegger, in his exploration of being, posited that the essence of life lies not only in our existence, but in our capacity to reveal truths. In nature, a creature's ability to deceive may seem at odds with the notion of truth. However, this duality invites deeper inquiry. Can beauty exist even within deception? Does the predator's hunt, driven by instinct, reflect nature's profound complexities, where the illusion serves the greater purpose of life and continuity? As we delve into these philosophical waters, we begin to see modern-day parallels. In our digital age, where filters and curated identities dominate social media platforms, we grapple with the question of authenticity. Are we creating our versions of camouflage, presenting polished facades that mask our realities? Just as the octopus uses its extraordinary ability to mimic textures and colors, Do we manipulate our personas to fit in or to connect? The line between genuine self-expression and deception can blur, leading us to wonder how much of our true selves remain hidden beneath the layers of adaptation. In contemplating the interplay of illusion and authenticity, we find ourselves at a crossroads. The practices of deception observed in nature echo our own struggles with identity, survival, and connection. Yet, like the creatures that master the art of camouflage, perhaps we too must explore the balance between revealing and concealing. What does it mean to live authentically in a world that often demands adaptation? As we ponder these questions, we invite an open-ended reflection on beauty, truth, and the myriad forms of existence. In nature's classroom, every illusion serves a purpose, inviting us to navigate our complexities with empathy and understanding. What lessons might we learn from these animals, and how might their realities inspire us to embrace our own authentic selves amidst the inevitable illusions of life? The complexity of identity. Are we who we think we are? Imagine waking up one morning in a life that feels entirely unfamiliar. You look in the mirror and see a stranger staring back, and yet you are certain that you are you. You carry the same memories, the same emotions, but what if they were all mistakes or misinterpretations? This thin veil of familiarity may begin to feel like a facade, nudging the question, are we truly defined by our thoughts, memories, and perceptions? Are we who we think we are? This inquiry takes us into the labyrinth of identity, a concept that philosophers have wrestled with for centuries. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus suggested that change is the only constant, teasing apart the notion of a fixed identity. If we are ever-changing beings, can we truly grasp who we are? John Locke introduced a contrasting view. He argued that personal identity is rooted in memory. For Locke, what makes you is the continuity of consciousness over time. But this leads us to ponder. If memories can be distorted, forgotten, or even fabricated, can they genuinely anchor our identity? Modern discussions in philosophy take these contemplations into new realms. Take, for instance, Daniel Dennett, who frames identity through the lens of narrative. He suggests that we create our identities through the stories we tell ourselves. If we live our lives scripting and rewriting our personal narratives, does that mean we're defined by the roles we play rather than some intrinsic essence? Yet this notion raises another deeper dilemma. If our identities are constructed rather than inherent, then who are we when the stories we tell shift or, at times, contradict? In today's world, questions of identity manifest in a myriad of ways. The rise of digital environments and social media has amplified the complexities of self-representation. We curate and edit the perceptions others have of us, often amplifying certain traits and quieting others. This leads to an alarming realization. Our virtual selves can differ dramatically from our real-world identities. Are we merely actors in a never-ending play, donning different masks for different audiences? And if so, does this malleability undermine our authenticity or enhance our potential? Contrarily, some argue that our identities are coherent and lie beneath these fluctuating narratives. Philosophers like Iris Murdoch assert that we possess an inner self, a more profound essence that shapes our choices and actions despite external variations. This invites reflection on authenticity, whether it is possible to be true to oneself amidst a cascade of influences, changes, and adaptations. Yet how do we define this authentic self if it is constantly evolving? As we navigate this multifaceted dilemma, we find ourselves asking whether we can ever truly disentangle our identity from the narratives we construct, the memories we clutch, or the roles we adapt. The question remains, in a world of flux and pervasive change, are we indeed who we think we are, or are we more defined by the ever-shifting landscapes of thought and perception that surround us? In pondering this, we invite deeper reflection on our identities. Perhaps the essence of who we are lies not in singular definitions, but in the perpetual quest for understanding, an exploration that invites us to embrace the complexities of our existence rather than seek clear-cut answers. As we delve into these layers of self-awareness, we uncover the profound richness of being human, leaving our identities open to transformation and discovery, reminding us that the journey is as significant as any destination we could imagine. Language as an illusion, how words shape our understanding. Imagine yourself standing on a sunlit pier, gazing out at a serene lake. The water shimmers like glass, presenting a world both inviting and familiar. You feel a sudden urge to describe this beauty. Perhaps you want to say, "This lake is beautiful." But in that moment of intention, a question emerges. Do the words we choose truly capture the essence of what we're experiencing, or are they merely illusions, masks that distort reality? This dilemma, that language shapes our understanding rather than merely representing it, invites us into a profound philosophical exploration. At the heart of this issue lies the observation that our words, while powerful, may not map neatly onto the world we perceive. The philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein suggested that the limits of our language often define the limits of our world. He famously stated, "Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent," hinting at a restrictive quality of language that can confine our thoughts and feelings. Consider the notion of color as a thought experiment. In one culture, color is described in expansive, nuanced ways, with terms that allow for an intricate understanding of hues. In another, the same colors might overlap, with few distinct words to differentiate them. Does this difference affect the way individuals perceive and experience those colors? Some cognitive scientists argue that language influences perception itself. If we lack the words to describe certain colors, do we truly see them as vividly? This notion echoes the ideas of Benjamin Lee Horff, who proposed the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, suggesting that language shapes cognitive processes and can embed cultural biases within our interpretations. Yet, juxtaposing this view is the opinion of philosophers like Noam Chomsky, who argue for an inherent language faculty nestled within the human brain. According to Chomsky's theory, we all share a foundational capacity for language irrespective of cultural variance. From this perspective, words become less an illusion and more a bridge, allowing us to share thoughts that transcend our individual experiences. Language is less about reflection and more about communication, an essential tool that helps us navigate our shared human experience. In our daily lives, we constantly engage with the complexities of language. Think about how the term home evokes a different emotional resonance from house. While both refer to a physical structure, the word home conjures a sense of warmth, comfort, and belonging, elements that escape literal description. This suggests that words bear emotional weight extending beyond their denotations. Philosophers from Martin Heidegger to Gaston Bachelard emphasize the emotional presence of language, signifying a deep connection between being and expression. Yet one must ponder, if language can distort our understanding, can we ever truly communicate our most profound experiences? In moments of intense joy, grief, or love, do our words fall short, leading to feelings of isolation or misunderstanding? Perhaps this is the silent struggle of being human, the recognition that our expressions might weave an illusion rather than convey raw reality. As we step back and reflect, the question remains, is language a tool for clarity, or does it serve more as a shroud, concealing the essence of experience? It beckons us to contemplate the duality of words, their ability to connect, yet obscure the truth of our experiences. In exploring these depths, we may come to appreciate that while language shapes our understanding, it is our silence, our shared unspoken feelings, that sometimes speaks the loudest. Like ripples across the lake's surface, perhaps understanding lies not solely in words, but in the stillness that invites us to reflect. The illusion of separation. Are we all connected? Imagine standing on the shore, gazing out at the vast ocean. Each wave that crashes against the sand whispers secrets of distant lands, while the salty breeze carries the echoes of voices from unseen shores. As you breathe in the fragrance of the sea, a thought arises. What if, beneath this illusion of separation, we are all intrinsically connected? This simple question invites us to reflect deeply on our relationships with each other and the world around us. Throughout history, philosophers have grappled with the idea of connection versus separation. In Eastern philosophies, particularly Buddhism, the notion of interbeing emphasizes that all beings are interdependent. Your existence is woven with that of others. Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully articulates this concept when he says, "We are here to awaken from the illusion of our separateness." This perspective frames life as a tapestry where each thread contributes to a greater whole. suggesting that the boundaries we perceive may be constructs of our minds rather than reflections of reality. Contrastingly, Western philosophy has often emphasized individualism. Thinkers like René Descartes famously declared, "I think, therefore I am," positing the self as an isolated entity. This perspective, while foundational to the development of modern thought, raises questions about our role in the larger fabric of existence. Are we truly separate individuals navigating a world devoid of deeper connections, or does that very isolation stem from a limited understanding of our shared humanity? Modern science also enters this philosophical conversation. Quantum physics hints at an interconnected universe where particles, once separated, can instantaneously affect one another, a phenomenon Einstein dubbed spooky action at a distance. This suggests that, on some level, the barriers we construct between ourselves and others are far more malleable than they appear. In our contemporary lives, we feel the truth of this interconnectedness in moments of shared experience. When we witness suffering, like the aftermath of a natural disaster, or the struggles of those far removed from us, we recognize a shared humanity that compels us toward compassion. Social media, intended to connect us, often paradoxically amplifies feelings of isolation, yet it also allows for extraordinary expressions of solidarity. Movements that span the globe remind us that, despite geographical distances, we are linked by shared values and experiences. Yet the question lingers: if we are all connected, what does that mean for our individual lives and choices? Are we merely products of a vast web, or do we have agency amidst this interdependence? The existential implications can be daunting. If suffering exists, and if we are all connected, are we not somehow responsible for the collective plight of our fellow beings? What does it say about our moral obligations to act, to alleviate suffering, or to promote justice in a world that feels increasingly fragmented? As we contemplate this illusion of separation, we are left with more questions than answers. What does connection truly mean in a world where differences and divisions are easily spotlighted? How do we navigate a reality that constantly oscillates between the allure of individualism and the profound call of interconnectedness? Perhaps, like the waves caressing the shore, the answers lie in the rhythm of our reflections. As we explore the depths of our connections, we find that our separateness may be less real than we once believed. So, as you stand on that metaphorical shore, consider this. How will you engage with the unseen ties that link you to the world around you? Time as an illusion, exploring the nature of temporal reality. Imagine standing on a beach as the waves gently lapping at your feet. You observe the sun dipping below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, each moment slipping away like grains of sand through your fingers. As you watch, a thought nudges at your mind. Is time truly as it seems, flowing steadily from the past into the future, or is it merely an illusion of our own making? The question of time has perplexed philosophers for centuries. On one hand, we experience time as a linear pathway, moving through life marked by memories and future aspirations. Yet thinkers like the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus famously noted that everything flows, suggesting that the world is in constant change, where the past merges into the present, and the future is merely a shadow of what is to come. In contrast, Parmenides contended that change is an illusion, arguing for a static reality where time does not truly exist. In modern philosophy and physics, this dichotomy continues to resonate. Einstein's theory of relativity shattered the conventional understanding of time, presenting it not as an absolute constant, but as a dimension interwoven with space, what we now refer to as space-time. This brings us to the idea that time is not simply a linear progression, but rather a complex tapestry woven into the very fabric of the universe. Yet does this mean time is an illusion entirely? Philosopher Immanuel Kant proposed that time is a form of intuition, an inherent structure of the human mind that helps us organize experiences. According to him, we cannot separate time from our perception. Thus, while we live in a time-bound reality, the fabric of time itself may not exist independently of our experiences. The implications of this thought are profound. If time is nothing more than a construct of our minds, how do we navigate our lives? In today's fast-paced world, we increasingly find ourselves grappling with the demands of a ticking clock. our routines, deadlines, and schedules often lead us to forget the essence of the present moment. Mindfulness practices invite us to pause, reminding us that perhaps the present is all that truly exists. When we immerse ourselves in the now, the past loses its grip, and the future transforms into a mere possibility. Yet, if we consider time an illusion, does this undermine our attempts to plan, learn from history, or strive for improvement? Does it lessen the significance of our lived experiences, or does it allow for a way to embrace existence without the weight of temporal pressure? As you reflect on this, consider the paradoxes of a world viewed through the lens of timelessness. What does it mean for our relationships, our dreams, our fears? Are we free to step outside the confines of time and behold life fully, or are we forever bound to its layers, distant echoes of what has been, and whispers of what could come? Ultimately, the nature of time remains a deeply complex and enigmatic puzzle. Perhaps the true challenge lies not in solving this riddle, but instead in embracing the questions it inspires. As the sun sinks beneath the horizon, think of how every moment is a fleeting opportunity to experience the beauty that exists in the now, urging you to reflect and wonder, what is time, and who are we in this vast continuum? The role of memory. Are our recollections reliable? Imagine standing in a dimly lit room, surrounded by objects that evoke nostalgia, a childhood toy, a faded photograph, a cherished letter. Each item stirs within you memories of joy, warmth, and perhaps sadness. But as you sift through these recollections, a nagging question arises. Are these memories reliable? How accurately do they represent the past? The role of memory invites us into a philosophical labyrinth, one intricately woven with threads of perception, identity, and truth. Memory shapes not only how we recall our past, but also how we understand ourselves in the present. The famous philosopher John Locke once argued that personal identity is tied to consciousness and memory. One is the same person over time because they remember past experiences. Yet this reliance on memory raises an unsettling dilemma. If our memories can be distorted or forgotten, to what extent can we trust our sense of self? Consider the work of psychologists like Elizabeth Loftus, who extensively studied the malleability of human memory. Loftus has demonstrated that memories can be influenced by suggestion, misinformation, or even the mere passage of time. In one notable study, participants could be led to remember an event that never occurred. This phenomenon casts a shadow on the reliability of first-hand accounts. If our recollections can be so easily manipulated, what does that imply for our understanding of truth? Contrast this with the perspective of philosophers like Soren Kierkegaard, who believed that the past is an essential component of our identity, regardless of its accuracy. Kierkegaard suggested that our memories shape our relationships with others and with ourselves, imbuing them with meaning that transcends factual accuracy. From this view, a memory does not need to be a perfect replication of an event to hold significance. Rather, it can serve as a crucial anchor to our emotional landscape, a lighthouse guiding us through the storms of existence. Yet as comforting as it may be to consider memories as integral to identity, we must also acknowledge the implications of such fallibility. In a world enriched by technology, where social media often curates our experiences, the way we remember can become increasingly blurred. Platforms might encourage us to present polished versions of our lives, altering the very nature of our memories. We may find ourselves entangled in a web of curated identity, where memories become a collage of external perceptions rather than genuine experiences, leading us to question, who are we, if not the sum of our memories? As this contemplation deepens, we are left with the realization that the journey into memory is as complex as it is beautiful. Memory, with all its fragility, allows us to connect, to learn, and to grow. It is both a canvas painted with our vibrant experiences and a puzzle filled with missing pieces, forever inviting us to reflect. Ultimately, as you navigate the tranquil waters of your thoughts, ponder this. If the essence of our identities is so closely tied to memories, can we ever fully trust them? Or is that inherent uncertainty what makes being human so profoundly rich and utterly mysterious? The questions linger, gently urging us to continue exploring, reflecting, and engaging with the very fabric of our remembered lives. Illusions of happiness, what it means to be truly content. Imagine, if you will, a serene lake at dawn, The surface is perfectly still, mirroring the sky's soft pastels. Now consider that beneath this tranquil veneer lies a world of turbulence, rocks, debris, and hidden currents that the eye cannot see. In many ways, this lake metaphorically captures the essence of human happiness. What if our contentment is similarly superficial, a mere reflection of what we wish to perceive rather than a deep-rooted reality? This brings us to the philosophical question of happiness. Can we ever truly attain contentment, or are we merely caught in illusions of happiness? Throughout history, the nature of happiness has sparked philosophical debates. Aristotle, in his Nicomachean Ethics, posited that true happiness, or eudaimonia, arises from virtuous living, fulfilling our potential and embracing our humanity. For Aristotle, happiness is not a fleeting emotion but a state achieved through action, ethics, and the practice of reason. Contrast this with the modern pursuit of happiness that often equates contentment with material success or external validation. In an age dominated by social media, many chase the facades of joy portrayed online, mistaking likes for genuine connection and luxury for fulfillment. The 20th century philosopher Alain de Botton offers a poignant critique of contemporary happiness. He suggests that our yearning for happiness is compounded by society's unrealistic standards. In his work, he presents the idea that the cult of achievement can lead to obsession, where happiness becomes a relentless race. Instead, he advocates for the beauty found in our everyday struggles, championing a more authentic understanding of joy that embraces imperfection and vulnerability. However, can we truly accept our flaws in a world that often glorifies perfection? Moreover, the existential philosophers such as Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus delve into happiness within the context of human existence. Sartre argues that we are condemned to be free, faced with the weight of choice that can lead to anxiety rather than peace. Similarly, Camus presents the absurdity of life, suggesting that we must create our own meaning amidst inherent chaos. Their reflections invite us to reconsider whether happiness is something we seek externally or rather construct internally, independent of life's absurdities. In today's world, we experience a paradox. The rise of well-being apps, positivity seminars, and happiness research suggests a collective yearning for joy, yet many report feeling more disconnected than ever. Mental health issues continue to escalate, challenging the notion that external achievements equate to internal satisfaction. We are left wondering, are we truly pursuing happiness, or are we running after illusions, forever eluding our grasp? Perhaps the quest for happiness lies not in accomplishments or possessions, but in the cultivation of genuine relationships and self-awareness. As we stand at the crossroads of these philosophical questions, we invite you, dear listener, to reflect. What do you perceive as true contentment? Is it the shimmer of an ideal life, or can it be found in moments of stillness amidst chaos? By exploring these musings, we begin to understand that happiness may be less about the external mirage and more about a deep-seated acceptance of our complexities. Perhaps true contentment resides in embracing both the serenity of the lake and the turbulence beneath, ultimately guiding us toward a richer, more authentic experience of being alive. As we ponder these ideas, we leave you with this open question. In your pursuit of happiness, are you chasing reflections, or are you willing to dive into the depths to discover what lies beneath? The lying eye, how vision can mislead us. Imagine standing before a beautifully painted landscape, vibrant colors dancing across the canvas. You feel a rush of joy, transported by the scene before you, until someone nearby offers their interpretation. It's all an illusion, mere brushstrokes mimicking life. Suddenly, your emotions are caught in a web of doubt. What if perception itself deceives us? This delicate tension between what we see and what is real invites us into a profound philosophical exploration. How can our vision mislead us? Philosophers have long grappled with the reliability of perception. The ancient skeptic Pyrrho posited that our senses can only offer fleeting impressions of a chaotic world, leading us to question whether we can ever truly know anything at all. In stark contrast, René Descartes famously asserted that his very act of doubting was proof of his existence. Cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. Descartes believed in the clarity and distinctness of rational thought as a path to knowledge, Yet he recognized that our senses could be manipulated, making them an unreliable guide. Modern thinkers like the epistemologist John Locke emphasized that our knowledge is built upon our sensory experiences, but also warned of their limitations. Locke's notion of the tabula rasa, or blank slate, reminds us that we begin with no inherent knowledge. Instead, we construct our understanding of reality through observation. Yet consider the optical illusions that can trick our brains into misinterpreting what's right in front of us. These illusions serve as a metaphor for the broader philosophical dilemma. How do we discern truth in a world where our senses can betray us? This question resonates deeply in today's world, where technology exacerbates the issue. With the rise of virtual reality and manipulated images in media, our perception of reality is continuously challenged. Social media filters can transform mundane moments into stunning visuals, encouraging a curated existence, often divorced from the mundane realities of life. When we engage with altered images, how do we determine authenticity? The philosopher Jean Baudrillard spoke of a hyper-reality in which the distinction between the real and the simulacrum blurs, leaving us to navigate a landscape constructed from illusions. But what if we turn our gaze inward? Our emotional truths and personal biases shape our interpretations of the world, complicating our vision further. Could it be, as philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche suggested, that our perceptions are influenced not just by external stimuli, but by our will to believe and what serves our interests? Our experiences can color our interpretation of reality, leading us to perceive only what we wish to see. As you reflect on your own experiences, think of a moment when your eyes deceived you. The simplicity of a sunset plunging into darkness can evoke profound emotions. Yet is that beauty diminished by knowing it is merely the result of light scattering? The interplay of vision and reality remains complex and elusive. We find ourselves in a realm of ambiguity, where understanding often requires detachment from what our senses present. In contemplating the nature of perception, we must ask ourselves how we navigate the tension between sight and truth. Are we merely passive observers of a world full of illusions, or do we hold the power to challenge our perceptions? Perhaps the journey lies not in seeking definitive answers, but in exploring how our visions shape not only our understanding of the world, but also our experiences within it. As we close this reflection, consider your own lying eye. What truth might lie beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered? The quest for clarity continues, inviting us to look both within and beyond the surface of our perceptions. Cultural illusions, how beliefs shape our experience of reality. Imagine a traveler arriving in a foreign land, enveloped by vibrant sights, unfamiliar sounds, and the tantalizing allure of new experiences. As they navigate this strange environment, they encounter local customs, traditions, and beliefs that challenge their own perceptions of reality. Do they embrace these new ideas, or clinging to their familiar worldview, do they dismiss what they cannot understand? Here lies the heart of a profound philosophical exploration, how our beliefs shape our experience of reality, creating what some might call cultural illusions. Philosophers throughout history have wrestled with the nature of belief and the ways it colors our understanding of the world. Consider the thought of Immanuel Kant, who suggested that our perceptions are largely shaped by the categories through which we interpret our experiences. In his view, we do not perceive the world in its raw form. Rather, we experience it through the lens of our beliefs and assumptions. This raises a contemplative question. If our understanding is so deeply influenced by our beliefs, how can we discern what is truly real? In juxtaposition, the social constructivist perspective, championed by thinkers like Peter Berger and Thomas Luckmann, emphasizes that reality itself is a construct of social interactions. They argue that our beliefs, shaped by culture, society, and context, form the fabric of what we perceive as reality. This suggests that what we regard as truth can vary dramatically depending on the cultural lens we wear. Certainly, this invites one to reflect upon their own societal influences. How might your upbringing and cultural background create illusions about the world around you? In our interconnected world, the implications of cultural illusions become increasingly relevant. Consider contemporary debates around topics such as climate change, where different belief systems lead to starkly contrasting realities. For some, the acceptance of overwhelming scientific evidence prompts profound concern and urgency. For others, influenced by cultural or political beliefs, that same evidence is dismissed or trivialized. This spectrum of perceptions illustrates how cultural narratives can profoundly shape our lived experiences and responses to pressing global issues. Moreover, cultural illusions are not limited to grand social debates. They inhabit the daily life of individuals, influencing personal choices, relationships, and even self-perception. The philosopher Michel Foucault delves into the ways societal norms shape identities and behaviors, suggesting that our very understanding of ourselves is an outcome of cultural narratives. This perspective prompts one to ask, how much of our self-identity is an authentic reflection, and how much is shaped by the illusions of expectation and social norms? As we reflect on these philosophical insights, it becomes clear that cultural beliefs are as intricate as they are enigmatic. They have the power to unite us, yet they can also divide, fostering conflicting perceptions of reality. The recognition of cultural illusions urges us to cultivate awareness of our own biases and encourages a reflective approach to understanding others. In a world suffused with diverse perspectives, the journey toward discernment is not a quest for absolute truth, but rather an invitation to remain curious, open-minded, and empathetic. Ultimately, as we wander through the tapestry of beliefs that shape our reality, we are encouraged to engage with the questions rather than seek definitive answers. What illusions remain unexamined in your own life? In recognizing the power of belief, how might we reshape our understanding of the world and, perhaps, ourselves? The illusion of permanence, embracing change in life. Imagine standing at the edge of a tranquil lake, its surface perfectly still, reflecting the sky in serene clarity. As you gaze upon it, a breeze stirs, creating ripples that disrupt the mirror-like image, reminding you that even the most peaceful moments can shift and transform. Now consider a deeper question. Is anything in life truly permanent? This inquiry opens the door to explore the nature of change and the often misleading sense of permanence we cling to in our lives. The philosophical issue of impermanence cuts through various schools of thought, with thinkers like Heraclitus emphasizing that change is the only constant in life. Everything flows. He posits that we cannot step into the same river twice, as it is always in motion, changing with each passing moment. In stark contrast, Parmenides argued for the existence of an unchanging reality, suggesting that what truly is cannot undergo change. This divergence presents us with a critical dilemma. Should we live with the belief in a static existence, or embrace the fluidity of our experiences? As we navigate our modern lives, the realities of impermanence become increasingly visible. Consider the rapid pace of technological advancement. Companies rise and fall in the blink of an eye, societal norms shift overnight, and once unbreakable bonds can dissolve unexpectedly. The COVID-19 pandemic, for instance, served as a profound lesson in the transience of life. Overnight, routines were uprooted, plans were suspended, and what was once taken for granted became a distant memory. This stark reminder of our vulnerability brings forth the question of how we can adapt to these ceaseless changes. Philosophically, existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre grappled with the notion of absurdity in a world devoid of inherent meaning. From their perspective, the acceptance of life's transient nature is crucial. By embracing change, we are liberated from the binds of expectation and permanence, encouraged to create our own meaning in this fluid existence. On the other hand, the Stoics, such as Marcus Aurelius, taught us to focus on what we can control and to accept that external events are beyond our influence. This offers a path toward tranquility amid the storm of change, yet it also highlights the inherent tension between our desires for stability and the reality of life's unpredictability. Amidst this philosophical landscape, we can find pathways to navigate a world marked by flux. Mindfulness practices invite us to observe the present moment, acknowledging the beauty of ephemeral experiences without clinging to them, like the reflection in the lake, there one moment, distorted the next. By accepting that each moment is unique and transient, we may cultivate a sense of peace that allows us to engage fully with life as it unfolds. Yet, even as we seek to embrace change, the pain of loss can feel overwhelming, whether it's the end of a relationship, the passage of time, or the inevitability of death. This brings us to the poignant question: how can we honor what was while accepting what is? Perhaps in understanding the nature of impermanence, we can learn to treasure the moments we share, acknowledging that their fleeting nature enhances their value. In reflecting on the illusion of permanence, we are left with an open-ended invitation to consider how we engage with change, loss, and the ever-evolving fabric of life. What if embracing the transient was the key to a richer, more profound appreciation of our experiences? As you ponder this, remember that every ripple in the lake carries the potential for new reflections, each moment a chance to witness life's delicate dance, a journey that is as beautiful as it is unpredictable. The mind's eye. What happens when we close our eyes? Imagine for a moment that you are sitting in a quiet room. The world outside is bustling with activity, yet you have chosen to retreat into this stillness. As you softly close your eyes, the light fades to black, and you enter a realm of darkness unencumbered by sight. In this moment, what happens within your mind? Are you merely blank, or is your inner world filled with thoughts, memories, and rich imaginings? This exploration of the mind's eye invites us to reflect on the nature of our consciousness and the intricate dance between perception and imagination. When we close our eyes, we step away from the objective reality governed by sensory input, entering a subjective universe shaped by our experiences and thoughts. This intuitive space beckons philosophical inquiry. Does our identity inhere in the lights we see or the thoughts we think? Consider the perspective of René Descartes, who famously stated, "I think, therefore I am." In this light, the act of closing one's eyes does not erase existence. Instead, it emphasizes thinking as the fundamental aspect of being. Yet, if thinking is the essence of our existence, what is it that we mentally engage with when deprived of visual stimuli? Are we free to conjure dreams, fantasies, or even fears? Or are we, in the absence of sound and imagery, left with only a void? Contrastingly, the philosopher Immanuel Kant introduced the idea that our understanding of the world is filtered through innate categories of thought. For Kant, merely closing our eyes does not shield us from the constructs shaping our perceptions. Even in darkness, we are still guided by the frameworks of reason, memory, and emotion. In this personal sanctuary, our mental realm could be seen as a theater where our subconscious plays out narratives stitched together from lived experiences, imaginations, and desires. An insight that evokes a sense of wonder at the variety of our mental landscapes. In our modern lives, we often seek solitude and silence, valuing moments of introspection as essential for our well-being. The soothing practice of meditation encourages us to close our eyes, inviting us to turn inward in a bid to quiet the incessant chatter of outside distractions. In doing so, we may encounter the profound contradiction where stillness brings clarity, yet paradoxically may also provoke discomfort or fear as we face our innermost thoughts without the barrier of external reality. Yet consider the implications of this inner exploration. In a world driven by visual stimuli, the act of closing one's eyes can feel alien or disconcerting. In a society consumed with images, from social media to advertising, the challenge lies in appreciating what emerges when those images are stripped away. Here, we confront the limits of our imagination and the vulnerability of our minds. What treasures lie hidden in the shadows behind our closed eyelids? What fears linger unaddressed? As you sit quietly, contemplating this journey inward, I invite you to linger on this question. Are these inner visions a sanctuary, an engagement with oneself, or a disconnection from reality? The answer remains elusive, as our understanding continuously evolves. For every moment you close your eyes, you open a window to the profound depths of your consciousness, suggesting that perhaps the true essence of existence unfolds not solely in the sights we see, but also in the rich tapestry of thoughts, when we dare to encounter the unknown that lies within. Unpacking the illusion of space, can we really navigate reality? Imagine standing in a vast, empty space, feeling the weight of your body grounded to the earth beneath you. You can see other people, trees, buildings, and the broad expanse of sky above. But what if I told you that this perception of space is merely an illusion, a fragile construct shaped by our senses and consciousness, rather than an absolute, unchanging reality? This invites a profound question. Can we truly navigate reality, or are we simply wandering amidst illusions? The exploration of space raises intriguing philosophical dilemmas, particularly regarding the nature of reality and human perception. Renowned philosophers like Immanuel Kant have suggested that space and time are not inherent qualities of the universe, but rather frameworks through which we perceive the world. According to Kant, our understanding of reality is shaped by the limitations of human senses, an interpretation that leads us to ponder, are we merely imposing order on chaos? Consider the holistic concept of space proposed by thinkers such as Henri Lefebvre, who emphasized that space is socially constructed rather than an empty void waiting to be filled. Our beliefs, cultures, and interactions shape the spaces we inhabit, creating a dynamic interplay between perception and reality. In this light, navigating reality becomes less about traversing a static landscape and more about understanding the layers of meaning that our experiences bring to that space. Yet even as we delve into these philosophical perspectives, contemporary challenges beckon us to consider how this understanding of space impacts our lives today. In an era of virtual reality and digital landscapes, we find ourselves navigating spaces that are no longer anchored in the physical world. Are we losing touch with the tangible spaces around us, becoming entangled in a web of illusions crafted by technology? What does it mean to interact with a reality that is curated by algorithms and screens, rather than defined by the natural laws of the universe? Moreover, the quest for spatial understanding resonates in the realm of quantum physics. The perplexing revelations of subatomic particles defy the commonsensical view of solid, continuous space. As physicist Carlo Rovelli posits, time and space may be emergent properties rather than fundamental aspects of the universe. This understanding challenges our traditional navigation through reality, suggesting that the very fabric of existence is far more fluid and complex than our senses convey. Framing these ideas within our daily lives opens avenues for reflection on how we navigate our relationships and environments. When we recognize that our experiences shape our perceptions of space, it becomes even more essential to question the mental and emotional constructs that influence our navigation. Are we truly aware of the spaces we create with our actions and thoughts? Understanding that we are both the navigators and creators of our realities can be a deeply liberating yet daunting thought. As you contemplate these nuanced dimensions, consider how the seemingly concrete spaces of your life may soften into illusions shaped by personal experiences and collective consciousness. The implication is profound. If our navigation of reality is predicated on perception, how much of what we understand as real is a construct shaped by our minds? In essence, this philosophical inquiry may never yield a definitive conclusion, but it continues to invite us into deeper reflection. As you ponder the intricacies of space and reality, ask yourself, rather than seeking to navigate an absolute truth, could embracing the fluidity of our perceptions lead to a richer, more meaningful journey through the world we inhabit? Illusions in music, how sound can craft emotional landscapes. Imagine sitting in a dimly lit room, a soft melody floating from a distant piano, inviting you to linger in the moment. This music, though intangible, seems to paint vivid emotions and memories, awakening feelings you didn't know lay dormant. What if we were to consider the essence of these sounds? Are they merely auditory phenomena, or do they possess the power to shape our very experience of reality? The philosophical exploration of music invites us to ponder its profound impact on our emotional landscapes. Music can evoke a spectrum of emotions, from profound joy to deep melancholy, often bypassing our rational faculties. In such moments, one might reflect on Immanuel Kant's assertion that aesthetic judgments arise from our feelings rather than intellect. Music, in its ephemeral beauty, brings forth a sense of contemplation, creating a bridge between the subjective and the universal. Yet, this raises the question, can music deceive us? On one hand, we have Friedrich Nietzsche, who believed that music reveals the primal truths of human existence. For Nietzsche, the emotional depth of music connects to our instincts, revealing not only our nature, but also a deeper understanding of life itself. Our reactions to music seem sincere and authentic, but are we merely responding to patterns and structures crafted by the composer? Herein lies the illusion. Do these sounds reflect our inner feelings, or are they constructs that elicit predetermined responses? Contrasting perspectives can be drawn from the work of Richard Wagner, who championed the idea of Gesamtkunstwerk, or total artwork. Wagner believed that music could transcend its boundaries and mingle with literature and visual arts to create an immersive emotional experience. This notion posits that music, when harmonized with other forms of art, can amplify feelings, forming a potent illusion that compels audiences into a deeper emotional encounter. Yet, it also nudges us to consider, do we lose some authenticity in our emotional experiences when manipulated by artistic techniques? Consider how this plays out in our contemporary world. Soundtracks in films are designed to elicit tears or laughter, shaping our emotional reactions to visual stimuli. How often have we found ourselves crying during a scene purely due to the swelling orchestration behind it? This connection suggests that while music can craft emotional landscapes, it can also mask our genuine feelings, a duality that speaks to the heart of the matter. Are we allowing the music to be a vessel for our emotions, or are we surrendering to an orchestrated manipulation? We can also draw parallels to modern-day practices, such as music therapy, where the conscious use of sound is employed to facilitate healing and reflection. In this context, are we acknowledging the power of music to unveil and explore our inner selves, or is it still an illusion that keeps us from facing our raw emotional truths? As we journey through the soundscapes of life, the illusions crafted by music remain an intricately woven part of our human experience. These melodies invite us to ponder the delicate dance between perception and reality, authenticity and manipulation. In reflecting on these thoughts, may we gather insights into our relationships with music, while recognizing that the emotional landscapes it creates may forever remain mysteries awaiting exploration. What, then, might we discover about ourselves as we continue to navigate these sonorous illusions? The exploration is yours to continue. The playground of paradox, embracing uncertainty in life. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, waves lapping at your feet, each crest and trough a reminder of life's unpredictable nature. You gaze out, pondering whether to dive into the uncertainty of the deep. How do you choose? Do you cling to the safety of the shore, where predictability reigns, or do you take the plunge, embracing the inherent unknown? This tension between certainty and uncertainty is at the heart of what it means to be human. Life, in many ways, is a playground of paradoxes. From the ancient Greeks to modern thinkers, philosophers have grappled with the complexities of existence. Take, for example, Socratic wisdom. The only thing I know is that I know nothing. Here lies the recognition of uncertainty as a fundamental aspect of knowledge itself. Socrates invites us to question our assumptions and confront our ignorance. Yet, in a world that often prioritizes clear answers and rigid beliefs, uncertainty can feel uncomfortable, even threatening. Consider the contrasting perspective of René Descartes, who proclaimed, "Cogito ergo sum," I think, therefore I am. For Descartes, certainty is paramount. He sought to establish an indubitable foundation for knowledge, believing that self-awareness was the key to existence. However, in the quest for absolute certainty, might we overlook the richness that uncertainty brings to our lives? Uncertainty invites exploration, creativity, and ultimately growth. In today's rapidly changing world, these philosophical dilemmas resonate more than ever. The rise of technology and globalization has introduced a myriad of choices and outcomes, often leaving us feeling paralyzed by indecision. As we navigate through life's complexities, be it in our careers, relationships, or ethical dilemmas, we are confronted with the prospect of uncertainty at every turn. Think about the moral ambiguities we face daily. Ethical dilemmas, such as those explored by philosophers like John Stuart Mill in his utilitarian framework, highlight the difficult choices we must make. Should we act to maximize happiness for the greatest number, or should we uphold individual rights, even at the cost of wider suffering? Each choice carries with it the weight of uncertainty. Uncertainty about the future, about the consequences, and about what is truly right. In this playground of paradox, we often feel torn between ideals and reality, pushing us toward deeper introspection. Yet, uncertainty can also become a source of freedom. The existentialists, such as Jean-Paul Sartre, argue that embracing our freedom and the inherent uncertainty of existence allows us to forge our own paths. In accepting the void, we become architects of our lives, tasked with creating meaning in an uncertain world. Instead of fearing the unknown, we can choose to revel in it, to see it as an opportunity to explore our inner selves. As you stand on the precipice of your own uncertainties, consider this. The interplay between certainty and uncertainty may not be a battleground, but rather a dance. In navigating life's complexities, can we appreciate the beauty in ambiguity? Can we learn to embrace uncertainty as an integral part of our journey, fostering resilience, compassion, and creativity? Perhaps the true challenge lies not in resolving these paradoxes, but in acknowledging and accepting them. In doing so, we might find that each moment, brimming with uncertainty, offers us a chance to reflect, grow, and connect with the essence of our humanity. So as you ponder the depths of the ocean ahead, what will you choose, the shore or the dive? Remember that it is within the exploration of uncertainty where profound growth often lies, inviting you to continue the inquiry long after the last wave has receded. Illusions of success, rethinking what it means to achieve. Imagine a highly successful person, their life seemingly perfect, a corner office, accolades everywhere, financial security, and a sea of admirers. But on a quiet evening, away from the bustling world, they stare at their reflection and feel an unsettling hollowness. Success, they have come to realize, is an illusory construct, often dictated by societal norms and external validations rather than genuine fulfillment. This dilemma invites us to explore the multifaceted nature of success and its deeper implications on our lives. Philosophers have long grappled with the essence of achievement. Aristotle proposed the concept of eudaimonia, often translated as human flourishing, not merely as the completion of tasks or accumulation of wealth, but as realizing one's full potential in a virtuous life. Could we redefine success through a lens of personal growth and ethical living instead of the quantifiable riches we chase? This idea nudges us to contemplate the metrics we use to assess our own value and accomplishments. In contrast, the philosophy of Friedrich Nietzsche reminds us that traditional values, including success, can often be oppressive constructs. Nietzsche's notion of the will to power challenges us to create our own meanings and embrace individual strength. According to this perspective, rather than conforming to societal definitions, we should harness our unique passions and ambitions, redefining success on our own terms. But does this mean we abandon all external frameworks? Is it possible that some degree of societal validation serves as a necessary guidepost, leading us along our quests for meaning? In our modern lives, these contrasting views unfold in myriad ways. Consider the constant stream of images depicting success on social media, the extravagant vacations, the perfect homes, the enviable careers. Each post a carefully curated illusion that paints over the cracks and turmoil under the surface. In this digital landscape, success often feels like a race, pulling us further away from self-exploration and deeper connection with our own values. Many find themselves ensnared in a cycle of comparison, questioning not only their achievements, but their self-worth. Yet insightfully, the Stoics offer a counterbalance to this tumult. They remind us that true success lies not in external accomplishments, but in our reactions to life's challenges and the ability to cultivate inner peace amidst chaos. Thinkers like Seneca emphasize that our responses to adversity shape our character and elevate our understanding of success beyond societal accolades to a more resilient and fulfilling existence. But can we fully embrace this philosophy in a world that incessantly pulls us toward external validation? This contemplation of success also echoes in our careers, relationships, and personal goals. As we navigate through life, how often do we pause and uncover what truly brings us satisfaction? Are we ticking off boxes on a checklist, or are we allowing ourselves the luxury of exploring uncharted territories within our hearts and minds? The tension between societal expectations and personal fulfillment forms a complex web we each must navigate, sparking crucial reflections on what success means to us as individuals. As we ponder our own lives in relation to these ideas, we are left with a tapestry of questions. What if success is better defined not by what we achieve, but by our authenticity in pursuing what matters? What if we reframed failure not as a setback, but as a vital part of growth? As we conclude this inquiry, let us sit in that subtle tension, drawn toward a deeper understanding while remaining open to the evolving nature of what it means to truly achieve. Perhaps the journey lies not solely in our successes, but in the quiet moments when we discover who we are beneath the illusions. Collective illusions, how society shapes our shared realities. Imagine walking through a bustling city, vibrant and alive with chatter, gestures, and the rush of people in motion. Yet within this dynamic tapestry, a question lingers quietly. Are we truly seeing the same world, or are we living within a collective illusion, shaped by societal norms that dictate our perceptions and beliefs? This delicate dilemma invites us to contemplate how shared realities are formulated and the profound impact they have on our thoughts and actions. We often view our beliefs as grounded in personal experience, but what if the very foundations of these beliefs are collectively constructed? Thinkers like Thomas Kuhn have argued that paradigms shape scientific progress, influencing how we interpret reality. In this light, societal norms act as paradigms, influencing our understanding of what is real and true. Consider the concept of social constructs, ideas and perceptions that exist because we collectively agree upon them. The very notions of gender, race, and even money are not grounded in inherent truths, but in social consensus. Philosophers like Michel Foucault examined how power dynamics shape knowledge, suggesting that our understanding of truth is often a product of societal power structures. What this invites us to ask is, at what point does collective agreement shape reality, and when does it mask an uncomfortable truth? In our modern world, the influence of social media has amplified this phenomenon dramatically. We are flooded with curated images and narratives that shape our desires and fears. Within this digital realm, likes become validation, and echo chambers create distorted reflections of reality. This phenomenon stems from a collective agreement on what is valuable or acceptable, thus influencing our perceptions and shaping our realities. Yet, contrasting philosophical perspectives remind us that the relationship between individual and society is complex. Existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre champion the notion of individual freedom, emphasizing personal authenticity over societal dictates. Can one truly break from the collective illusion, or are our choices forever intertwined with societal expectations? What does it mean to live authentically in a world where so much of our perception is a product of collective agreements? The implications of collective illusions reach far beyond individual identity. They impact our understanding of justice, morality, and truth. Consider how movements for social change challenge prevailing illusions. What was once deemed normal can become recognized as unjust or harmful through collective awakening. The challenge remains, however, can we adequately see beyond the illusions we have been conditioned to accept, or are we unwitting participants in our society's fabrications? As we reflect on these thoughts, it becomes clear that the exploration of collective illusions is not merely an academic exercise, but an invitation to engage more fully with the world around us. What shared beliefs shape the narratives of your life? In what ways do those narratives feel authentic, and in what ways do they feel imposed? These questions do not yield easy answers, but descry a continuous journey of self-awareness and reflection. Perhaps the keen awareness of how society shapes our shared realities can illuminate paths toward greater understanding and empathy. And as we navigate through these collective illusions, we may find ourselves not just questioning the nature of truth, but discovering more profound connections within the diverse tapestry of human experience. Perception of beauty. Is beauty truly in the eye of the beholder? Imagine standing in a bustling art gallery, surrounded by vibrant paintings and striking sculptures, each one vying for your attention. A mysterious abstract piece catches your eye, swirling colors and shapes that evoke intense emotions within you. Nearby, a meticulously rendered landscape receives little notice, its beauty overshadowed by the chaos of expressionism. Why does this particular artwork resonate with you while others seem to fade into the background? Is beauty truly subjective, residing solely in the beholder's eye, or is there an objective quality that makes something beautiful? This inquiry invites us into the realm of aesthetics, where philosophers have long contemplated the nature of beauty. One of the most enduring questions is whether beauty is found within objects themselves, or if it emerges from personal perception. The expression, Beauty is in the eye of the beholder suggests a subjective understanding, implying that what one person finds beautiful may leave another indifferent. Modern artists and individuals often endorse this view, championing the idea that personal experiences shape our unique appreciation of art, nature, and life. In contrast, philosophers like Plato argued for the existence of an objective notion of beauty, a higher form that transcends individual experience. For Plato, beauty embodies truth, goodness, and harmony, an ideal that exists independently of human perception. This notion challenges the subjectivist stance, suggesting that some things possess inherent beauty regardless of our personal tastes. If beauty is an objective quality, it raises questions about our interpretations. Are we missing something profound when we dismiss works that don't resonate with us? Another compelling perspective comes from Immanuel Kant, who saw beauty as a universal experience but grounded in individual sensation. He posited that while our judgments of beauty are subjective, they should evoke a sense of shared taste or consensus in an ideal spectator. In this sense, Kant acknowledges individual experience while also suggesting a communal thread that connects us through a collective appreciation of beauty's forms. In our modern context, the question of beauty extends beyond classical art to myriad aspects of life, from social media filters enhancing our selfies to advertisements that curate idealized images of attractiveness. As we scroll through curated feeds, we're confronted with beauty standards that often feel both unattainable and mutable. How much of what we consider beautiful today aligns with genuine emotional resonance, and how much is shaped by societal expectations or fleeting trends? This ongoing dilemma reminds us that our interpretations of beauty can influence our experiences. A sunset might be merely another end to a day for some, while for others it becomes a profound moment of reflection. Why do some find beauty in the intricate patterns of nature, while others might only see chaos? As you contemplate this intricate web of perception, consider the role of context, culture, and personal experiences in shaping your understanding of beauty. Is it a fleeting moment or a lasting relationship with the world around you? Perhaps beauty is not confined to definitive judgments, but is instead a rich tapestry of subjective experiences woven together by humanity's shared search for meaning. In the end, we may find ourselves questioning not just the nature of beauty, but our ways of perceiving the world. Are we prepared to embrace diverse interpretations, to listen to others' perspectives, even when they differ from ours? The journey into the realm of beauty is not just about the art we admire or the landscapes we cherish. It is ultimately a reflection of our own humanity and connection to one another. How we choose to see beauty may reveal more about ourselves than we dare to explore. The illusion of safety, understanding risk and vulnerability. Imagine, if you will, a traveler wandering through a dense forest. Each step brings the tantalizing scent of adventure, yet with it, the lurking shadows of uncertainty. The traveler spots a well-worn path, its manicured edges promising ease and security. But is safety found in the predictable, or is it merely an illusion, blinding us to the breathtaking beauty that comes from embracing the unknown? This tension between safety and risk invites us into a profound philosophical inquiry about our perceptions of vulnerability and the true nature of security. At the heart of this exploration lies the age-old dilemma. How much do we cling to our constructed sense of safety, and what might we sacrifice in the process? The philosopher John Stuart Mill believed that the greatest happiness arises from the freedom to make choices, even if those choices entail risk. He argued that a life devoid of risk is a life devoid of true fulfillment. But if one believes that every step toward freedom also invites potential danger, how do we navigate the thin line between the two? Consider the perspective of existentialists like Søren Kierkegaard, who posited that confronting our vulnerabilities is essential for authentic existence. For Kierkegaard, the act of embracing our limitations is a pathway to greater understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. Yet, in a contemporary society increasingly dominated by technological safeguards, we often seek to eliminate risk altogether, fostering a culture of overprotection. This valorization of safety can prompt an unsettling question. Are we trading genuine experiences for a facade that promises comfort? The philosopher Michel Foucault would argue that this quest for safety reflects deeper societal mechanisms of control. Our fear of vulnerability cultivates a landscape where we willingly conform to norms and regulations that promise security. Yet in doing so, we may inadvertently strip away our autonomy and creativity. The illusion of safety, then, becomes an invitation to explore the contradictions inherent in a life overly curated for predictability. What happens when we prioritize comfort over authenticity? In our modern world, this dilemma manifests in myriad ways. We erect walls, both literal and metaphorical, designed to shield ourselves from discomfort. Social media platforms entice us to present polished versions of our lives, curating an image that often feels safe but is ultimately misleading. Furthermore, the rise of surveillance and security technologies underscores a collective fear of exposure and vulnerability, shaping how we interact with one another. Yet amid these complexities lies a glimmer of truth. Embracing vulnerability may lead to deeper connections and foster resilience, the very qualities that allow us to thrive in the face of uncertainty. The poet Rainer Maria Rilke beautifully encapsulated this sentiment when he wrote, "Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves." As we roam this philosophical terrain, we find ourselves at an open crossroad, pondering whether it is indeed within our vulnerabilities that we uncover the essence of our humanity. Perhaps the quest is not about eliminating risk, but learning to dance with it, finding a balance between security and authenticity that resonates with our individual journeys. In the end, as we ponder the illusion of safety, we invite you to consider, what does it mean to truly live, to navigate life's inherent uncertainties with grace? The answers may be as varied as the paths we choose to tread, and the reflections may linger long after the journey begins. The enigma of the unknown, embracing life's mysteries. Imagine standing at the edge of an immense forest, where the trees loom large, their branches swaying gently in the breeze. The path before you is obscured by thick underbrush, and although you feel a compelling urge to explore, a sense of trepidation holds you back. The forest symbolizes life's profound mysteries, unknowns that tug at our curiosity while simultaneously instilling fear. What lies beyond the known? Are there truths waiting to be unearthed, or does ignorance offer a safer, quieter existence? Engaging with the unknown is a quintessential aspect of the human experience. It brings to light philosophical questions that have echoed through the ages. The mysterium tremendum, as Rudolf Otto describes, captures the duality of awe and fear we feel when confronting the unknown. Such feelings have driven thinkers from Socrates to Kierkegaard, who posited that embracing our ignorance is the first step towards genuine wisdom. Socrates famously said, "I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing." This admission underscores an essential truth. It is often our unknowing that provokes the deepest inquiries. In contrast, existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre remind us that confronting the unknown can lead to a profound sense of freedom. Life, with all its uncertainties, offers a blank canvas where individuals can project their meanings and aspirations. Sartre's notion of existence precedes essence champions the idea that we create our essence through choices made in the face of uncertainty. The liberation found within life's ambiguity invites us to navigate it actively, rather than retreat into comfort zones of certitude. Yet how do we reconcile the desire for answers with the inherent uncertainties of life? The Epicurean philosophy suggests that rather than seeking an end to mysteries, we should embrace their existence as a crucial aspect of life's journey. Epicurus argued that the pursuit of happiness hinges upon acceptance of life's unpredictability, finding joy in fleeting moments rather than clinging to definitive truths. This perspective may offer solace, as it encourages us to dance gracefully with life's enigma. In our modern world, the embrace of the unknown feels more relevant than ever. With rapid advancements in technology and science, we encounter ethical dilemmas that challenge our understanding of humanity. Artificial intelligence, climate change, and bioethics present questions that can evoke a sense of existential dread. As we stand at the precipice of the future, the unknown looms large. Yet, embracing uncertainty can lead to innovation, prompting new ideas and solutions that honor our shared humanity. As we journey through the labyrinth of life, we may come to see uncertainty not as an adversary, but as a guide. Much like the uncharted paths of the forest, the realms of the unknown can lead us to unexpected beauty and wisdom, illuminating our lives in unforeseen ways. What awaits us in this undiscovered territory? Perhaps, like the forest, the unknown calls us to delve deeper, to seek the harmony within uncertainty. In embracing life's mysteries, we find ourselves continually invited to explore, reflect, and engage with the world around us, cherishing the very essence of uncertainty. The questions that remain: what truths will we uncover? How will we shape our existence amidst the unknown? Linger gently in the air, inviting us to ponder and explore further. Distorted reflections, the mirror of self-perception. Imagine standing before a mirror, gazing intently at your reflection. You see not just your physical form, but the essence of who you think you are, a culmination of experiences, perceptions, and judgments. Yet in that moment, you ask yourself, is this truly me? Or is it a distorted reflection, warped by the opinions of others, societal expectations, and my own insecurities? This scenario encapsulates the philosophical dilemma of self-perception, inviting us to explore the intricate nature of identity. The concept of the self has been a topic of deep inquiry by numerous philosophers. René Descartes posited, "I think, therefore I am," suggesting that the act of thinking is foundational to self-identity. However, if our thoughts can be influenced by external factors, family, culture, and society, how reliable is this self-knowledge? Are we merely echoes of those around us? Contrast Descartes' rationalism with existentialist thought, particularly as articulated by Jean-Paul Sartre. He proposed that existence precedes essence, suggesting that we are not defined by an inherent identity, but rather by our choices and actions. In this light, the self is a fluid construct, constantly evolving through personal decisions. Yet this fluidity can lead to an unsettling realization. If our identity is shaped by choices made in response to external perceptions, is it truly ours, or merely a response to the world around us? Moving to the modern day, the rise of social media amplifies this dilemma. Each post, each like, becomes a mirror reflecting not just our lives, but a crafted narrative influenced by the expectations of an audience. We often curate our identities online, leading to a dissonance between our real selves and the selves we project. The philosopher Marshall McLuhan's concept of "the medium is the message" raises pertinent questions. Are we losing authenticity in our self-representation? With every filter and edit, are we distorting who we genuinely are? Moreover, cognitive biases further complicate our self-perception. People often fall prey to the Dunning-Kruger effect, overestimating their abilities while underestimating the skills of others. This cognitive distortion creates a warped self-image, reinforcing the idea that our reflections, both literal and metaphorical, may not accurately represent reality. In other words, our perceptions may be more a product of our emotions than an accurate self-assessment. Yet, amidst this complexity lies a vital opportunity for introspection. Psychologists like Carl Rogers advocated for unconditional positive regard, suggesting that accepting oneself, flaws and all, can foster authentic self-discovery. If we embrace our distorted reflections, acknowledging their origins while striving for a more genuine understanding of ourselves, we invite growth and deeper connection. As we navigate the realms of self-perception, it's crucial to embrace the questions rather than seek concrete answers. Why do we look for validation from others? What would happen if we focused on self-acceptance instead? Can we redefine our narratives and reshape our reflections, beginning a journey toward a more authentic identity? Ultimately, the mirror of self-perception invites us into a continuous dialogue with ourselves. The reflections we see may be multifaceted, sometimes unclear, but perhaps that ambiguity is where the beauty of our identity truly lies. A reminder that self-discovery is not just an endpoint, but an ever-evolving journey. Quantum reality, the enigmas of physics and existence. Imagine a world where particles can exist in multiple states at once, allowing for endless possibilities, yet confounding our understanding of reality. In this world, a photon can be both a wave and a particle, and a cat can be simultaneously alive and dead until observed. This strange behavior emerges from the realm of quantum physics, where the fundamental nature of reality becomes a tapestry woven with paradoxes. What does it mean for our understanding of existence if reality can appear so fluid and uncertain? At the heart of quantum mechanics lies the concept of superposition, epitomized by Schrödinger's cat experiment. This thought experiment raises profound questions about observation and reality. If a cat is in a box along with a radioactive atom, its fate hangs in a delicate balance until we open the box, collapsing the possibilities into a single outcome. The cat is either alive or dead. In a sense, this experiment challenges our perceptions of reality itself, suggesting that until observed, various outcomes coexist. How does this notion ripple through the fabric of our understanding of existence? Philosophers have long grappled with the implications of such quantum enigmas. Immanuel Kant proposed that what we perceive is just a fraction of reality, filtered through our senses, leaving us to ponder if an objective reality even exists. Meanwhile, modern thinkers like David Deutsch argue that quantum mechanics supports a multiverse theory. Every decision branches off into countless realities. This perspective forces us to question the nature of choice and determinism. If every possible outcome occurs in some universe, what responsibility do we bear for our actions? In contemplating quantum reality, we encounter interpretations differing markedly among philosophers and scientists. The Copenhagen interpretation suggests that particles do not have definite properties until measured, leading some to propose that consciousness itself plays a role in shaping reality. Yet many dismiss the idea that consciousness influences physical phenomena, arguing instead that the universe exists independently of our perceptions. Here, we find a philosophical divide, contemplating the nature of existence. Is reality a construct of the mind, or does it persist regardless of human observation? The relevance of these dilemmas stretches beyond science and philosophy into the heart of our everyday lives. Consider the anxiety that arises from life-altering decisions. Each choice seems to momentarily freeze time, leading to an overwhelming sense of pressure. Could it be that, like particles, we exist in a state of infinite possibilities until we make our choice? Does this thought offer solace or intensify our existential uncertainty? Quantum reality inspires us to interrogate our perceptions of existence and the intricate web that binds thought to reality. It invites us to ponder whether the universe is a deterministic machine governed by physical laws or a kaleidoscope of probabilities, where consciousness plays a key role. Maybe, much like Schrödinger's cat, we too find ourselves suspended in states of uncertainty, poised between various paths, waiting for a moment of observation to reveal our personal truths. As you reflect on this enigmatic intersection of physics and philosophy, one question lingers. In a world defined by uncertainty and myriad possibilities, how do we craft meaning from the chaos that surrounds us? Perhaps the quest for understanding is not to uncover definitive truths, but to embrace the mystery of existence itself and to find our place within it. Art as illusion, exploring reality through creative expression. Imagine walking through a gallery, your senses immersed in vibrant colors and captivating forms. You pause in front of a painting that seems alive, its brushstrokes whispering tales of passion and struggle. Something within you stirs. Yet you wonder, is what you feel an authentic connection to reality, or merely an illusion crafted by the artist? This question invites us to reflect on the nature of art itself. Can it genuinely convey truths about our existence, or is it merely a clever deception veiling a more profound reality? The philosopher Plato famously critiqued art as mere imitation, a shadow of the true forms that exist beyond our perception. For him, artists are akin to puppeteers, calculating how to manipulate emotions and shapes to create a facade, an art that may distract us from the painful truths of existence. In this light, art seems to dance on the edge of illusion, luring us into a world crafted by another's vision, tempting us to lose sight of our understanding of reality. Conversely, thinkers like John Dewey champion art as a crucial means of experiencing reality. He believed creative expression allows us to connect with the world meaningfully, forging a continuous dialogue between the observer and the artwork. Art then can be seen not just as a reflection, but as a lens through which our emotional and intellectual experiences coalesce, offering insights into our shared humanity. Each brushstroke, every note, becomes a medium through which deeper truths about ourselves and the world emerge. Consider how this dilemma unfolds in contemporary society. The rise of digital art and augmented reality raises questions about authenticity. A digitally manipulated photograph captures an idealized moment, yet deviates from the unembellished experience of life. When we engage with art created through algorithms or deepfakes, we might ponder, does the emotional response it evokes hold the same weight as one birthed from a human's lived experience? Moreover, the impact of art on mental health emphasizes its dual role as both illusion and means to understand reality. Art therapy offers individuals a pathway through trauma, revealing layers of emotion and insight that words often fail to express. In this restorative journey, art transcends mere representation. It becomes a bridge to understanding oneself and the world, sometimes illuminating truths veiled in shadows. Yet, as we contemplate the nature of art, we remain faced with lingering questions. If art is a window into reality, how do we discern between authentic representation and mere illusion? And if, as some argue, our perceptions are constructed and subjective, what does that imply for the truth depicted through artistic expressions? Can an illusion, as beautiful and moving as it may be, ever convey a deeper reality? As we wander through these philosophical terrains, we are invited to reflect. Perhaps our pursuit of meaning through art mirrors our quest for understanding in life itself, complex, nuanced, and endlessly beautiful. In embracing art's multifaceted nature, we might find that the blend of illusion and reality, rather than leading to confusion, inspires deeper engagement with both art and the world around us. So let us continue to explore these questions, for in the spaces between reality and illusion lies a journey worthy of contemplation. The illusory self, the fluid nature of identity in modern life. Imagine standing before a mirror, not merely gazing at your reflection, but delving into the depths of what you believe you truly are. Is the person looking back at you the same individual from 5 years ago, or even yesterday? Are you the sum of your memories, your choices, and the myriad roles you play? At this moment, we are gently invited to ponder a profound philosophical dilemma: the nature of self and identity in our ever-shifting world. In an age characterized by constant connectivity and rapid change, the concept of a stable, unchanging self seems almost quaint. Our identities are woven from a tapestry of experiences, social interactions, and cultural influences, suggesting a fluidity that challenges traditional notions of the self. Philosophers like Heraclitus embraced this transience, famously positing that you cannot step into the same river twice. Our identities, much like the river, are in perpetual motion, shaped by the currents of external circumstances and internal growth. Contrastingly, some thinkers, such as René Descartes, advocated for a more fixed understanding of the self. Descartes' mantra, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am, seeks to identify a core essence that remains unchanged amidst life's chaotic ebb and flow. But can we honestly cling to such certainties? In an era where our public personas can be meticulously curated on social media, we often inhabit multiple identities concurrently, reflecting different aspects of ourselves to suit varying contexts. Each version beckons for recognition, yet all are part of a greater mosaic, challenging our grasp on authenticity. In today's world, this fluidity finds resonance in the concept of identity as performance, as expressed by Judith Butler. According to Butler, gender and identity are not innate truths, but rather constructed through repeated behaviors and social norms. This realization could encourage liberation, empowering us to redefine our identities. Yet it also evokes uncertainty. If identity can shift like sand in the wind, what remains to ground us amidst this perpetual flux? Consider the implications of this dilemma on our well-being. Many of us wrestle with the anxiety of living up to societal expectations, striving to project a coherent identity that others will accept. The pressure to conform to established identities can lead to an internal disconnect, as we may feel more like actors in a play than genuine expressions of ourselves. It is in this dissonance, an identity crisis fueled by modern demands, that we often search for meaning. As we navigate this intricate landscape of selfhood, the question persists: what does it mean to truly know ourselves? Is it enough to understand that we are multifaceted creatures shaped by a ceaseless flow of experiences, or do we seek a more stable anchor? Existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre would argue that meaning is not inherent but created by each of us, regardless of our fluid natures. Our essence unfolds through actions and choices rather than being predetermined by any singular identity. As we conclude this journey of introspection, it remains clear that the notion of the self may be illusory, a fleeting projection in a transient world. The exploration of our identities may never yield definitive answers, but can inspire understanding and acceptance of the multifarious beings we are. Perhaps the essence of our identities lies in their ongoing evolution, an ever-changing story continuously awaiting new chapters. In embracing this fluidity, we might step into a deeper, more compassionate understanding, not only of ourselves, but of those around us, fostering a shared journey through life's complex tapestry of existence. Rituals and illusions, how traditions shape our worldview. Imagine a young woman preparing for a significant life event, her hands trembling slightly as she arranges flowers for a wedding. Each bloom, carefully placed, is more than decorative. It symbolizes love, commitment, and family. Yet as she styles the bouquet, a question arises. Are these rituals, these traditions, truly meaningful, or are they just comforting illusions we have constructed to cloak the uncertainty of life? This introspective journey invites us to venture into the heart of the philosophical inquiry surrounding rituals and the ways they mold our perceptions and experiences. Anthropologist Victor Turner noted that rituals are not merely repetitive actions, but processes that create and reinforce our social realities. They can traduce mundane moments into sacred events, conferring meaning and structure onto our lives. Yet if rituals shape our worldview, we face the dilemma of discerning which traditions elevate us and which perpetuate illusion. Consider the wisdom of philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein, who emphasized the importance of language and context in shaping our understanding. If our world is threaded with rituals, celebrations, mourning, rites of passage, these practices inevitably shape our language and thought, coloring our worldviews. They tell us what is significant and what is trivial. Consequently, when we engage in rituals, are we participating in a shared reality, or are we merely adhering to scripted roles in a grand play, blind to the true essence of our experiences? On the opposite end of this philosophical spectrum lies existentialist thought, particularly the views of Jean-Paul Sartre. He would argue that these rituals might encumber our authenticity. By steeping ourselves in the expectations of tradition, do we not risk losing sight of our subjective existence? His perspective invites a more radical questioning. Are these customs liberating or shackling? In a world increasingly shaped by rapid change and societal evolution, the challenge becomes one of balance. How do we honor rituals while also carving out individual meaning? Now relate this dilemma to contemporary life. Consider how various cultures across the globe engage in their time-honored traditions. In some societies, ritualistic practices, such as communal meals or annual festivals, promote a sense of belonging and interconnectedness. These experiences cultivate empathy and reinforce bonds. Yet, as globalization spreads and cultural homogenization raises its head, many people begin to disassociate from these rituals, viewing them as outdated artifacts. This raises questions about identity and continuity. Are we losing vital threads of connection by dismissing the very rituals that define us? As we ponder these interconnected threads, we cannot ignore the potential for healing within rituals. As noted by psychologists like Carl Jung, rituals often facilitate personal transformation, helping individuals navigate grief, joy, and change. In this light, we must ask ourselves, can a ritual become a mere illusion, or does its power lie in our ability to imbue it with personal meaning? Thus, we find ourselves awash in reflection. The dance between ritual and illusion is intricate, a delicate interplay shaping who we are. Perhaps the answers do not lie in a definitive conclusion, but in an invitation to explore our own engagements with these customs. What rituals cradle your existence? Do they fortify your vision of the world, or do they impose limitations upon it? In seeking answers, dare to embrace the complexities, for within that space lies the essence of what it means to be human, in a world rich with tradition, yet ripe with possibility. The surreal and the real, what dreams teach us about life. Imagine waking from a vivid dream where you soared through celestial skies or walked alongside figures from history long forgotten. You felt their warmth and heard their voices, resonating in a way that felt more real than reality itself. But as the dawn breaks and reality settles in, a question lingers. If dreams can feel so profoundly real, what do they tell us about our waking lives? This interplay between dreams and reality invites us to explore the philosophical ground between these realms. Renowned philosopher and psychologist Sigmund Freud once posited that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. He believed they reveal hidden desires and unresolved conflicts, urging us to confront aspects of our psyche that we might otherwise keep at bay. On the other hand, Carl Jung, in his exploration of the collective unconscious, suggested that dreams connect us to a deeper layer of human experience, one where archetypes and shared symbols guide our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. As we unpack the significance of dreams, we are faced with intriguing questions about perception and meaning. Are dreams merely random neural firings, or do they serve a purpose? Perhaps they function as a form of emotional processing, offering us glimpses of our innermost fears and aspirations. In a world often preoccupied with logic and reason, how refreshing it is to consider the chaotic, boundless landscapes of our dreams, where anything is possible and the rules of reality don't apply. In modern psychological discourse, researchers explore what dreams reveal about mental health and well-being. Studies show that those who regularly recall their dreams, particularly disturbing ones, may be grappling with unresolved issues in their waking lives. The act of remembering a dream can facilitate self-reflection and inspire personal growth. Dream work, as some psychologists suggest, can be a powerful tool, guiding individuals to process trauma or clarify their desires. Yet, as we consider the value of dreams, we also encounter skepticism. Philosophers like René Descartes posed a profound question. How can we truly trust our senses when dreams can mirror reality so convincingly? If we can't distinguish between a dream and waking life, what does that say about our understanding of existence? This skepticism invites us to reflect even deeper. Is life itself a series of interconnected dreams, each leading us to explore and question our perceptions of reality? In the tapestry of human existence, the surreal and the real weave together in intricate patterns. As we navigate our days, the dreams we dream can offer poignant symbols echoing the themes of our waking hours, our hopes, fears, and the untamed corners of our minds. Perhaps our dreams are not mere distractions from reality, but reflections of our innermost truths, calling us to confront the very essence of who we are. As you drift off to sleep tonight, consider your dreams as more than mere figments of imagination. Allow them to dwell in your consciousness, opening doors to reflection and understanding. What lessons do they hold for you? In their quiet whispers, may they guide you through the surreal landscapes of your heart, inviting you to explore the boundaries between the dream world and the waking reality. And as you ponder these intertwined realms, may you embrace the uncertainty and wonder that exists in both, for therein lies the essence of the human experience, rich, layered, and infinitely profound. Illusions of time management, productivity versus well-being. Imagine this. It's early morning, and your day divides itself before you like a menu of fleeting opportunities. You rise feeling the pressure to produce. Perhaps you have work tasks to complete, personal projects pulling at your time, or even social engagements to navigate. As the hours unfold, a quiet voice whispers, "You could be more productive." But amidst the to-do lists and schedules, have you paused to consider the cost of this relentless pursuit for productivity? This scenario introduces us to the philosophical dilemma of time management, a dilemma that pits the ideals of productivity against the quiet but profound necessity of well-being. When we navigate our lives through the lens of efficiency, do we risk sacrificing something deeply fundamental about ourselves? The philosophies of existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre and liberators of the mind like Thoreau offer contrasting views on this issue. Sartre believed that we are condemned to be free, and with that freedom comes the burden of choice. Each decision can either lead us closer to authenticity or drag us further into the void of societal expectations. On the other hand, Thoreau, with his affinity for simplicity, urged us to embrace the unstructured moments of life, suggesting that true contentment may lie in experiences rather than achievements. In our modern world, this tension becomes palpably relevant. Organizations promote productivity hacks, and self-help literature proliferates with promises of time management techniques that claim to unlock our full potential. Yet beneath this shiny surface lies a deeper question. What happens to our sense of self when we constantly chase deadlines, striving to optimize every moment? Could our relentless focus on getting things done be detracting from the simple joys of living? As we drift further into this meditation, consider the notion of the tyranny of the urgent. This concept, popularized by Stephen Covey, reminds us that we can become so ensnared by immediate demands that we lose sight of what genuinely matters. Moment to moment, life with its richness slips by, unnoticed in the pursuit of completion. How many cherished moments have been sacrificed for the sake of productivity? Are we perhaps trading our long-term well-being for fleeting accomplishments? Philosophers like Martin Heidegger suggest that our relationship with time shapes our existence. When we live in a manner aligned with our true selves, we find authenticity. A life organized solely around productivity may cause us to lose grasp of the things that provide significance, such as connection, reflection, and joy. The real question might not be how we can manage time more effectively, but rather how we can approach our lives in a way that prioritizes our overall wellness. Yet consider another angle, the value of productive engagement itself. For some, achievement can breed a sense of purpose and fulfillment. This duality reveals the complexity of our human experience. Productivity could indeed enhance well-being when pursued in harmony with our innermost values. Modern thinkers like Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi illustrate this through the concept of flow, a state where one is completely immersed in an activity, leading to both engagement and profound satisfaction. As we near the end of this reflective journey, let us sit quietly with the realization that both productivity and well-being have legitimate claims on our time. It calls for a delicate balance, one that challenges us to reflect on our choices continually. How do we honor our aspirations while nurturing our essence? In seeking a resolution, perhaps it is not about avoiding one in favor of the other, but fostering a dance between the two, a harmonious interplay that honors our humanity. In this ever-unfolding journey, may we ask ourselves, what kind of life do we truly wish to cultivate? The shadows of thought, can we trust our inner monologue? Imagine a quiet afternoon, the sun casting soft shadows through the trees as you sit alone, contemplating the world around you. In this serene moment, a voice begins to speak, your own inner monologue, weaving complex narratives about your life choices, your dreams, your fears. But what if that voice isn't as trustworthy as it seems? What if it deceives rather than reveals? This is the philosophical dilemma surrounding our inner monologue. Can we genuinely trust the thoughts that play out in our minds? From the whispers of self-doubt to the lofty aspirations we project, our inner voice shapes how we perceive ourselves and the world. But could it also cloud our judgment, steering us toward misconceptions and biases without our awareness? Renowned philosophers have long wrestled with the reliability of the self. Descartes famously asserted, "Cogito ergo sum," I think, therefore I am, suggesting a strong connection between thought and existence. But this perspective also raises questions. If our thoughts are flawed, can they truly convey the essence of who we are? Consider the views of David Hume, who argued that much of our self-conception is influenced by emotions and perceptions, often leading us astray. Hume believed that reason is a slave to the passions, emphasizing the tumultuous relationship between rational thought and feeling. What happens when those feelings are based on biases or unfounded fears? Are we then prisoners of our misguided inner dialogues? In modern psychology, cognitive distortions echo this age-old philosophical concern. Our minds often engage in negative self-talk, spinning narratives that distort our self-image. The inner voice might declare, "You're a failure," or "You don't belong here," reinforcing insecurities. These internalized messages can perpetuate a cycle of self-doubt, shaping our reality in ways that may not reflect the truth. Is it reasonable to grant so much authority to our inner dialogue? The ancient Stoics, like Epictetus, urged individuals to examine their thoughts critically, advocating for the idea that external events do not disturb us, but rather our perceptions of those events do. Here lies a powerful reminder. The voice in our heads can create turmoil or harmony, depending on how we choose to interpret it. Yet, even as we scrutinize our inner monologue, it remains an integral part of our identity. It fuels creativity, guides decision-making, and instills hope. Could it be that our thoughts, however flawed, serve a more profound purpose, pushing us toward introspection and growth? When we question the validity of our thoughts, we engage in a dialogue that can lead to self-discovery and clarity. As we navigate this intricate interplay between thought and reality, consider the impact of societal influences. Social media, cultural norms, and peer groups permeate our consciousness, coloring our inner narratives. Is it possible that what we often hear in our heads is more a reflection of external expectations than our authentic selves? The journey to understand our inner monologue invites continued reflection. Can we discern its reliable truths from its deceiving shadows? Each thought deserves examination, not as an absolute truth, but as a stepping stone toward deeper understanding. How often do we pause to question the veracity of our beliefs? Are we architects of our own thoughts or merely subjects of them? As the day wanes and you sit alone with your thoughts, allow them to dance in your mind, but tread carefully. In the silent shadows of your own contemplation, remember that while your inner voice can guide you, it remains essential to question. Can we truly trust the whispered truths woven into the fabric of our being? The role of mythology, understanding reality through ancient stories. Imagine a world where the sun is not merely a celestial body, but a living entity, riding chariots across the sky, watched over by a pantheon of gods whose actions shape the very fabric of existence. In such a world, the stories told by our ancestors are not just tales spun to entertain. They are the threads that weave together a shared understanding of reality, an exploration of existence itself. How do these ancient narratives influence our perception of the world today? What truths about the human condition do they reveal? The study of mythology invites us into a complex dialogue about the intersection of truth, meaning, and belief. Myths serve as allegorical windows into the values, fears, and aspirations of the cultures that birthed them. Philosophers like Joseph Campbell have argued that myths are universal stories that resonate across cultures, tapping into archetypal themes that reflect fundamental human experiences. For example, the hero's journey, found everywhere from Gilgamesh to Harry Potter, captures our desire for growth, struggle, and transformation. In this way, mythology creates a shared human experience, providing a framework for understanding the challenges of existence. Yet, the question of how literally we should interpret these stories raises a philosophical dilemma. Are myths to be understood as mere fiction, or do they hold deeper truths about the human condition? Friedrich Nietzsche famously declared that the myth is the secret of the world. For him, myths are not just fanciful tales, but represent profound insights into existence, morality, and the nature of suffering. He believed that, stripped of their literal truth, myths still reveal aspects of human psychology and social values, acting as a guide through the chaos of life. On the other hand, some existential thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre would argue that creation of meaning is inherently human and subjective. From this perspective, myths lose their ultimate significance when detached from their existential context. They can evoke feelings of nostalgia or wisdom, yet without imparting a definitive truth, as the meaning resides solely within the human experience. This raises an intriguing question. In a world awash with scientific reasoning and rationality, how do these ancient narratives retain their relevance and power in helping us navigate our modern lives? Today, as we face the complexities of our existence, environmental crises, technological upheavals, and cultural clashes, myths provide comforting narratives that may guide us through uncertain times. They remind us that the dilemmas we face are not new. Our ancestors grappled with the same themes of love, conflict, and mortality. In this sense, mythology transcends time, serving not only as a reservoir of wisdom, but also as a means of fostering resilience and unity among diverse people. As we ponder the role of mythology, we find ourselves at the intersection of the fantastical and the deeply human. Can we continue to find significance in these ancient stories, transforming them to resonate with our contemporary struggles? Or do we risk losing touch with this rich tapestry of narrative that shapes our understanding of who we are? Ultimately, as we delve into the role of mythology, we are left with a profound invitation to reflect. How can we weave our own stories, inspired by the past, to navigate the uncertainties of our present and future? The journey of exploration is ongoing, beckoning us to listen carefully, question deeply, and dream boldly. The illusion of progress. Are we moving forward or in circles? Imagine standing at the edge of a vast forest, a trail winding mysteriously ahead. With each step, you embrace the thrill of the unknown. Yet as the trees close in, the path starts to feel familiar. You traverse the same rocks, dodge similar branches. It dawns on you, have you truly journeyed forward, or merely walked in circles? This thought echoes across the ages, reflecting a perplexing philosophical dilemma. Are we genuinely making progress, or are we caught in an endless loop of repeating history? Throughout history, philosophers have grappled with this question of progress. Hegel, for instance, viewed history as a rational unfolding, a dialectical process leading toward freedom and self-awareness. According to him, each contradiction we confront propels us closer to a truth, continually evolving the spirit of humanity. Yet, how often do we look around and feel as if we are trapped in a cycle of the same socio-political disputes, economic downturns, and environmental crises that our ancestors faced? In contrast, Friedrich Nietzsche offered a starkly different perspective. He posited that eternal recurrence could serve as a challenge. What if our lives were destined to repeat themselves endlessly? Would we not strive to live each moment fully, recognizing that our past mistakes may persist forever? For Nietzsche, this existential weight can compel us to confront our reality, sparking a personal revolution rather than blind faith in a linear path of progress. Modern-day parallels abound: climate change, inequality, political polarization, issues cyclically revisited despite decades of dialogue and action. In a world awash with technological advancements, the ironic reality is that although our capabilities seem boundless, the fundamental crises we face remain stubbornly static. Are we progressing in our understanding, or does each leap forward occasionally mask a retreat into old patterns of conflict, exploitation, or environmental degradation? Consider the advances in communication technology. While we have fostered connections across the globe, this has not quelled social divides. Rather, it may have amplified and reshaped the way we engage with divisive ideologies. In many ways, the digital sphere reflects Hegel's thesis of progress, where information spreads quickly, creating awareness. Yet this very same platform can give rise to echo chambers that hinder understanding and perpetuate discord, an irony in a world that yearns for unity. As we meander through these philosophical landscapes, we may wonder about the implications for our own lives. Is it possible that as individuals, we obsess over personal growth, careers, and achievements, while simultaneously missing broader societal patterns? In focusing on individual progress, do we unintentionally become agents of stagnation, neglecting the systemic issues that require collective effort? As we slowly consider these complex ideas, the path ahead remains shrouded in uncertainty. Are we inching toward a future of enlightenment, or grounding ourselves in the familiarity of past failures? Perhaps the illusion of progress is intertwined with our desire to believe in a brighter tomorrow, a collective yearning for hope amid ongoing struggles. In this delicate interplay between history and aspiration, we are invited to engage deeply with our thoughts. As we stand at that forest path once more, the decision awaits us. Will we choose to navigate these familiar trails with renewed awareness, or will we glide back into the comfort of ignorance? And as we ponder, we can embrace the unfolding journey, forever reflective, endlessly engaged in the question of whether our steps are truly forward or merely echoes of what has come before. Synesthesia and illusion, exploring the boundaries of perception. Imagine walking through a vibrant art gallery, where the scent of fresh paint intertwines with the sound of colors swirling around you. Each hue evokes a different taste, sweetness, worth, or bitterness lingering on your tongue as you gaze at the masterpiece before you. This experience, while exotic and fantastical, is not merely a figment of imagination. It's a glimpse into the world of synesthesia, a condition where stimulation of one sensory pathway leads to automatic experiences in a second sensory pathway. This phenomena raises a profound philosophical question. What if our perception of reality is not as universal as we think? Are we perhaps trapped in our individual sensory experiences, each one an island of perception, shaping our understanding of truth, beauty, and even existence. Schools of thought and philosophy, such as empiricism, suggest that knowledge comes primarily from sensory experience, grounding our understanding in what we perceive through our senses. Yet, synesthesia challenges that foundation. If a person perceives sound as color and taste, is their sensory experience any less real than yours? Here, we encounter the philosophy of idealism. George Berkeley famously proposed that if we do not perceive something, does it exist? Synesthetes possess a form of enriched perception that paints their reality with qualities unseen by others. In this light, we ponder, can one person's illusion become another's vivid reality? The implications of synesthesia extend beyond these philosophical musings into the realm of art, nature, and even morality. Consider how artists like Wassily Kandinsky and Claude Monet harnessed their unique perceptions to create masterpieces that invite us to feel rather than simply see. Kandinsky believed colors could embody emotions, translating his synesthetic experiences into vibrant canvases that resonate with viewers on a deeper level. As we immerse ourselves in these works, we're beckoned to reflect on how each of our perceptions influences not only our emotional responses, but also our moral judgments. If one person's lens of perception frames their sense of right and wrong, does this lead to a fractured moral landscape where truths diverge, each valid in its own sensory context? In modern society, where the blending of artistic expression and technology often creates new sensory experiences, we find virtual and augmented realities that challenge our concept of illusion further. As we don headsets that simulate environments, layers of perception intersect, leaving us to question our fundamental understanding of reality. If we can shape perception through technology, are we not also manipulating the essence of how we experience truth? Philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche, with his assertion that there are no facts, only interpretations, reverberate through the discourse as we strive to reconcile technological advancements with the authenticity of our lived experiences. Yet as we delve deep into these philosophical waters, we are reminded of the fundamental mystery of human perception. The puzzle of synesthesia beckons us to explore not just how we perceive the world, but what those perceptions mean for our understanding of reality itself. Can we ever fully empathize with another's sensory experience? What if the colors we imagine are muted, lacking the vibrancy that another might perceive? In closing, the journey through the intersection of synesthesia and illusion invites us to reflect. Perhaps true understanding lies not in the desire to equate our perceptions, but in appreciating the uniqueness of each individual's experience. As you continue to ponder these boundaries of perception, consider how your own perceptions shape your understanding of truth and reality. What colors do you paint your world with, and how might they differ from the shades seen by those around you? The illusion of independence, understanding interdependence in life. Imagine a small, serene island where every inhabitant prides themselves on their independence. Each person cultivates their own food, builds their own shelter, and travels alone into the surrounding ocean. They believe they're entirely self-sufficient, carving out their existence according to their wills. Yet a storm brews on the horizon, and as the winds rise, their little island becomes a vulnerable place, suddenly entwined in their shared fate. As the waves crash and the rain storms down, their sense of independence begins to unravel. This scene initiates a profound philosophical exploration. Are we truly independent, or are we inextricably intertwined with one another? Thinkers throughout history have grappled with this question, articulating a spectrum of perspectives on the nature of individual autonomy versus collective existence. Consider Jean-Paul Sartre, who championed the idea of radical freedom, emphasizing that individuals must forge their paths in a world devoid of inherent meaning. Yet alongside Sartre exists the voice of Martin Buber, who asserts that the essence of our existence is rooted in relationships. To Buber, our identities are shaped through I-thou connections, suggesting our independence is merely an illusion within a greater web of interdependence. In modern society, the notion of independence often aligns with personal success, financial autonomy, and emotional self-reliance. Social media amplifies this illusion, painting a picture of flawless, self-sufficient lives curated to attract admiration and envy. Yet amidst the curated images of independence, we encounter the daily realities of reliance, whether on technology, community services, or even the emotional support of friends and family. Those who live alone, for instance, often find themselves paradoxically reliant on the very constructs of society to maintain their solitude. This interdependence becomes starkly evident when crises strike. A global pandemic, for example, compels a reevaluation of what it means to live independently. While some may feel isolated in their homes, they depend on healthcare workers, delivery services, and virtual networks to sustain life. Ethicist and philosopher Emmanuel Levinas emphasizes this point through the idea that our moral responsibility toward others begins with our recognition of their needs. In his view, our freedom is entirely dependent on acknowledging interdependence and the obligations that arise from it. Moreover, environmental degradation reveals our interconnectedness in unsettling ways. A polluted river in one region can wreak havoc on distant ecosystems. A warming climate challenges not only individuals in isolation, but entire nations brought together by the shared impact of human negligence. We are all threads in the fabric of existence, and when one thread frays, the entire tapestry is at risk. Thus, as we sit at the reflective intersection of independence and interdependence, we invite ourselves to ponder, what does it mean to be truly free? Is freedom about detaching from the bonds of others, or is it found within the vibrant connections that tie us to one another? Perhaps our greatest liberation lies not in fleeing from community and reliance, but in embracing the supportive structures that allow us to thrive together. And so we close this exploration not with a resolution, but with an invitation to reflect. How do our lives intertwine with others, and in what ways can we cultivate a deeper understanding of our interconnected realities? In a world that often pushes the narrative of independence, let us ponder the richness of our shared existence, a tapestry woven from the threads of every life, every encounter, and every moment of support we offer and receive. Confronting the absurd, the illusion of meaning in a chaotic world. Imagine standing on the edge of a vast ocean as waves crash violently against the shore. Each wave seems to speak of chaos, a random force that neither asks for our permission nor cares for our fears. Now think about your own life as a tiny boat navigating through these tumultuous waters. In the face of life's unpredictability, as we grapple with loss, disappointment, and the existential weight of our beacons of hope, we might ask, does life hold any inherent meaning, or are we merely adrift in a senseless sea? This brings us to the philosophical exploration of absurdity, a theme notably examined by philosophers like Albert Camus. In his seminal work, The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus introduces the idea of the absurd, the conflict between our desire for meaning and the indifferent universe that offers none. He proposes that Sisyphus, condemned to roll a boulder up a hill only to watch it roll back down, epitomizes our own struggles with this absurd condition. Rather than surrender to despair, Camus suggests we embrace the absurdity of existence, finding joy in the struggle itself. Contrastingly, existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre argue that rather than surrendering to absurdity, we should create our own meaning through our experiences and choices. Sartre famously stated, "Existence precedes essence," implying that we, as conscious beings, must define our purpose in a world devoid of preordained meaning. This shift places the onus of meaning not on the universe itself, but on our personal narratives and connections with others. Yet, even as we endeavor to carve out significance from our lives, we may encounter a modern reality that feels increasingly chaotic. Global crises, existential threats, and personal upheaval abound, often leaving us feeling helpless. In this whirlwind, we might symbiotically resonate with thinkers like Viktor Frankl, who in Man's Search for Meaning, observed that even in the direst conditions of suffering, humans can find purpose. His experiences in concentration camps during World War II taught him that meaning can be derived from the smallest acts of kindness or the memory of loved ones, thus providing a beacon of hope amid despair. However, when we look closely, we often find that the search for meaning can feel elusive, leading to a nagging sense of futility. The absurdity of existence feels especially prominent in moments of loss or when confronted with the randomness of existence, a poignant reminder, perhaps, of how fleeting and fragile life can be. In an age where social media often projects a curated image of success and happiness, it's easy to overlook the inherent chaos that defines our reality, leaving us questioning the value of our pursuits. Ultimately, we are left confronting the crucial question: how do we navigate a world that offers no clear answers? Perhaps the path lies in acceptance, acknowledging the absurdity while embracing the beauty of our interconnected experiences. As we float among the waves, we might reflect on the possibility that even in chaos, laughter, connection, and love might serve as anchors in the storm. So let us linger with this thought. In a world where meaning often slips through our fingers like grains of sand, how shall we choose to respond? Will we succumb to the chaos, or rather, dance with it, allowing ourselves the grace to reflect, adapt, and perhaps create meaning anew? Each of us remains a voyager, exploring the uncertainty of existence, where every moment becomes an invitation to deeply reflect on the nature of our lives. The beauty of ambiguity, finding peace in uncertainty. Imagine standing on a precipice, gazing into an expansive fog. The path ahead is obscured, as are the choices that flow from it. What's more unsettling, to leap into the unknown or to remain where familiarity reigns? This moment, standing at the edge, invites us to explore the nature of uncertainty, challenging the very fabric of our lives and assumptions. Philosophically, how do we engage with ambiguity? Within the realm of uncertainty, we find a profound dilemma: the desire for clarity and the acceptance of the unknown. Thinkers like Søren Kierkegaard, often dubbed the father of existentialism, argued that the very essence of existence is inseparable from uncertainty. He contended that individuals must confront the anxiety of choice, for it is through our choices that we define ourselves. To embrace ambiguity, Kierkegaard would say, is to embrace the authentic experience of living, one filled with passion, doubt, and the thrill of the unforeseen. Consider the contrast presented by René Descartes, who sought certainty through methodical doubt. For Descartes, the quest for knowledge necessitated a foundation of unquestionable truths, famously stating, "Cogito ergo sum," I think, therefore I am. His approach reveals a desire for absolute clarity, resisting the ambiguity that characterizes much of human existence. Yet, in our modern lives, do we not often find ourselves in a chaotic web of uncertainties, navigating relationships, careers, and our personal beliefs without any foolproof guide? In today's world, the real ramifications of accepting ambiguity play out daily. The rapid pace of change leaves many grappling with questions about identity, purpose, and belonging. Consider the rise of technology and social media, which serve as both a connector and a divider. They thrust individuals into a constant state of comparison, overwhelming our senses with information and ideals. In such a landscape, the acceptance of ambiguity becomes essential. It invites us to seek peace amidst the clamor, to recognize that our paths are not meant to follow a straight line. Philosophers like Rainer Maria Rilke urge us to cultivate patience with the unresolved. He suggests that we must learn to love the questions themselves, living into the answers we seek rather than rushing toward conclusions. This perspective invites a more compassionate engagement with ourselves and the world, reminding us that clarity can often be an illusion. Yet, as we reflect on the beauty of ambiguity, we must also acknowledge the discomfort it can evoke. Many cling to certainty as a means of navigating their realities. To relinquish this grip can feel akin to drifting in a vast ocean, adrift without a compass. Navigating such waters demands resilience and trust in the flow of life. How do we learn to find solace in the ebb and tide of uncertainty? Can we train ourselves to rest in the space of not knowing, embracing it as part of the human experience? As we linger on these thoughts, we arrive at a point of contemplation. The beauty of ambiguity lies in its potential to foster personal growth and a richer connection to our surroundings. It invites us to reflect on what it means to live fully, recognizing that sometimes the most profound insights arise from questions unasked and paths unexplored. Thus, we conclude our contemplation without a final answer, instead leaving you with an invitation. As you navigate your own uncertainties, pause to appreciate the beauty of the unknown. In this space, may you find peace and perhaps a deeper understanding of what it truly means to embrace the journey of life, one defined by the wondrous interplay of questions and possibilities.